Me too.
Cats are awesome. Lula in particular is very cool kitty.
Oh, we're live.
Are we looping?
No, you're right. We are live, but I don't know where my video went.
Uh-oh.
I don't know where it went either.
That's crazy.
Did OBS get screwed up because you were sharing screen earlier? Because every time I share screen, it screws OBS up for me. And I have to leave Zoom and rejoin.
And it won't show any new video?
It won't show it.
Now it's working.
Oh, okay.
It was like in some kind of crazy mode.
Yeah, mine was it like an infinity loop? Like an infinity picture going?
That's when you just capture the same screen as OBS.
Yeah.
But
no, it was in a Tesla Starman loop.
I can't hear any audio on the screen.
Hi, Suze.
Hello.
Lee, can you hear us?
Is Darcy there yet? Is she coming in? Darcy, goddammit, you better come in here.
Why isn't our audio going out?
There's already a hole.
In your asshole. Everybody's got one, mama. All right, is there audio now? Oh, yeah, cool.
Poops.
All right.
Yeah, audio.
Hey, everybody. All right. Now turn
Let's play the intro, too.
Okay, new intro.
I like that Saturday Night Hive with the cars and everything, man. All right, round 3. We got the intro playing.
All right, there we go. I turned it off. All right.
Intro's playing with no audio in the background. That's cool. All right, we're good. It's golden.
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. Meow. Meow, Carl.
Carl's got a lot of fucking bitching to do.
Really? He's
mad.
He's pent up from the lack of hives.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. And he's really, really mad. Carl, what is the problem?
Oh, got a J what?
Yeah, usually as soon as I ask him what the problem is, he stops.
So here we are.
Here we are.
I want to know what everyone thought about the SpaceX launch.
I love it. It's a goddamn human achievement, and I love space, and I love Elon Musk.
I'm coming over there to beat the shit out of you.
We got a differing opinion on here. Come on, guys.
The violence has started already. What is this, Philadelphia? Come on.
This is Gangs of New York.
Oh, jeez.
Grim's the Butcher.
Did you hear what?
Oh,
nice.
Did
you hear what Stefan Molyneux said about the Philadelphia blowing up? He said that in Philadelphia, it's 60% single parent households. 60%.
In Philadelphia.
So he's tying in Philadelphia. So he's tying the whole thing back to the single mothers and how that whole idea of not having a nuclear family and going against all those things, that's beginning to show itself the way. You really should go back and listen to him the way he says it. But I don't agree with everything Steph says, and I'm a single mother male, so. But at the same time, it makes a lot of sense the way he puts it.
How does this tie into the Elon Musk thing?
It doesn't. Okay, here, I'll tie it in.
Please. Give me a little rap with that. Do a little beat.
The day they launched that thing, I decided to I imposed a blackout on myself just so that I don't know, I needed a little break actually. So to be perfectly honest, I don't know anything about the launch or the subsequent stock market crash because of it. So I'm just starting to catch up. So you guys are going to have to tell me about the launch.
Cool.
Everything went well, and this thing is going around Mars currently.
Yeah. Well, no.
Well, no,
Well,
It overshot Mars,
3 months.
allegedly.
In 3 months.
In like a half hour.
No. I found out what
Or
happened.
it's going to overshoot Mars
It missed its.
Really?
and end up in the asteroid belt.
Correct.
The asteroid
Toroid.
belts.
Wow.
Hey, that's what happens when you miss your turn. You end up in the wrong neighborhood, and you end up getting your car screwed up.
Come on, dude.
So he really did place that thing? It didn't really?
Fuck no, that's
Seriously?
a bunch of bullshit.
We-
Are you kidding me?
I'm telling you.
He'll be lucky if he makes it to Jupiter with his rims.
How did the
Also,
tires
why
not
isn't-
explode?
Why is it a mannequin? Yeah, totally.
It's
not
dude,
a
it's
man.
Why
David
isn't Elon Musk in there?
It's David Rockefeller in there.
Why isn't it a robot?
They had to get rid of his
David
body.
Rockefeller.
They
Yeah.
wanted. That was. Oh, never mind. It doesn't work.
And what does it say on the little GPS thing?
Don't panic.
Don't panic.
Oh, but the thing that looks
don't
like
know.
Cac's mouth. Wait, we're gonna get to that in a second.
I have as much proof that it's real as I have that it isn't real. So either way, I just think it's a hilarious shit show going on. So
Yes.
more power to him.
And the thing that makes me mad is he's bilked us out of billions of dollars and he's laughing at us.
Not us.
Oh, totally.
Well,
See,
okay, the people that believe it.
The people that
no,
pay
he hasn't.
taxes.
He hasn't bilked anybody out of
No, it's
anything.
the government, dude.
No, it's not the government that's funding that.
Yes, it is. Well, no,
Yes,
not
it
space.
is.
Not
They
space.
give him
No,
like
he's-
$90
no.
billion.
Oh, let him talk.
Government sales have funded it.
Government what?
Government sales. He's funded that stuff with his company, right?
No.
No,
providing
he's
launch
heavily subsidized.
It's heavily
He's heavily
He's
subsidized.
got he's got huge subsidies from the government.
Yes, that is correct.
Taxpayers did at least a third of that, I bet.
Oh, okay. It's like a Title VIII space program.
Yes.
Sorta, yeah.
I think that the main purpose is to get most of what NASA does into privatized hands, so it's less public,
Transparent, for sure.
less transparent, less public accessible, away from the eyes of FOIA requests.
Yeah, no
Perp.
shit.
So
I like to FOIA that crap.
Well, see, this is one of the things. Speaking of FOIA requests, that has been a huge scam that's been flying under the radar for a long time, with the legal requirement by the FCC or the DHS, or I forget who the agency is or what the regulation is specifically. But for common carriers, for data and voice. To keep records of metadata and things like that. So
right, that was part of the Patriot Act, wasn't it, or the 702?
It was, yeah.
The 702.
yeah. So the issue is that it's not the government that's scooping up the data. They're requiring the companies to scoop up the data and preserve it for a certain amount of time.
Correct.
And the companies are all like, okay, well, this costs money. And when they realized that the government was willing to pay for it, they started charging premiums on the service and set up back-end services for the companies, for the feds to access the data. So every time they every time the feds serve one of these 702 requests, the carriers get paid. AT&T's been doing it for a very long time.
And they're probably billing the customer as well.
Oh yeah, it's part of the overhead of the
Of course. Of the service they're providing, documenting all of your phone calls, text messages, and
Isn't it
whatever else.
Yeah.
For
Isn't it something like
prosperity.
Amazon? Like the U.S. government pays Amazon $1 for every package they deliver or something like that. So
Yeah,
every
really?
single every single thing that Amazon delivers, the U.S. taxpayers pay something like $1 to Amazon to do that. And they're pushing more and more things to go toward Amazon. I mean, now you're just like,
Well,
hey, Alexa, need toilet paper. Have that delivered for me, please. You know?
They moved some of their servers to the Amazon cloud.
Yep.
They
Who
assigned
the hell has Alexa?
my parents?
I don't know.
A lot of people.
I might have gotten that wrong. I don't have Alexa, but I think that's the Amazon thing.
It's the Echo.
Alexa.
It is the It is.
And the Echo.
Yeah.
The Echo's the device, and Alexa is the service.
Oh, okay.
Isn't she the one that talks? Because I have a Fire tablet.
They all fucking talk.
And I have not enabled Alexa except whenever my YouTube video goes off and I don't turn another one back on, or Netflix or whatever. My microphone goes click, 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 click.
Wait a minute.
It's listening.
Then she hears the synthetic telepathy. Cut it out.
I didn't get that.
And then I'm like, fuck you, motherfuckers.
So hostile.
I've been listening to OBGM.
No, she's going full Lily Tomlin.
I've been doing that for like 4 years.
You can totally carry that off.
That is cool.
You should call up Jordan and start doing that.
Just fuck you. Jordan. Yeah, give me that old lady.
Just what you really should do is record it and make like a sample of it and like loop it in some kind of music. Like get Adam to do it. Loyal, he'll do it.
Oh, he loves that.
He loves doing that shit.
Yeah. I'll have a go at that.
There you go.
I will definitely provide the fuck yous.
Good to know.
I still can't get past Neil deGrasse Tyson saying, "I'm not offering you my butthole."
Did he say that on a Cruising with Stoke episode?
I think so.
He was telling James.
He said it on Radiolab.
Referring to what?
Well, Ira Glass was asking him, "Hey, can I?" No, he didn't say that. For the
Ira
record,
Glass, I could see that.
No, there was it was a story. It was a story about microbiomes and how casual interaction between people affects our microbiome. That's all the bacteria and yeasts and stuff like that hang around our bodies, doing normal external and internal maintenance and things.
Allegedly.
Yes. It's actually a flat microbiome. But
I just wanted to throw that in there. Huh?
No, I thought it was
that
pear-shaped.
Just goes nowhere good, does it? All right.
I thought it was pear-shaped.
It's a
That's
torus.
what Neil said.
What?
It's a torus, or at least part of it is.
He's pear-shaped.
So the statement was that it was the Radiolab people were doing an experiment about how much contact does it take to influence a person's microbiome, and they had Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I don't remember if it was Ira or one of the other people that's involved in the story, and they basically did nothing but shake hands. They took samples before, and then they took samples immediately after of the microbiome. I don't know how they took these samples, but they supposedly took samples
Rectally, I heard.
I didn't hear anything about that, but the they were doing the test, and apparently Neil deGrasse Tyson's microbiome was overcome by the person that he had shaken hands with, and it persisted for a very long time, like some number of weeks or months or something like this. It wasn't just a short interview thing that they did.
Yeah.
And part of the interview, they were talking about the place where it most frequently ends up is around the exhaust.
Around the exit point.
Yeah.
Because you're farting it out. You're leaking it out.
Yeah. So.
Because you don't need it.
But that doesn't explain how it gets from your hand to there.
Well, it goes through. It goes into your bloodstream, and then your body excretes it as waste because it's not using it.
Okay, I don't disbelieve that, but I kind of think you're making it up at this point, Jerry. I'm sorry.
Well, how else would it get in there? Because that's one of the number one causes of what do they call it? When you transmit it to someone else, transmission of a disease is either through the hands, through the eyes, the nose, Those are the thinnest parts, these mucous membranes in your mouth, and mouth and your nose and your eyes. And your hands touch all three of those things all day long.
Well, he could have touched his hand to his nose, and it could have gone through his mucous membrane that way.
Right, exactly.
And
not into his bloodstream, gone into his stomach.
Unless he's really gross, at some point his hand is back near the exhaust as well.
Here's the thing: when I shake someone's hand, it's either, I make that judgment call right away. Does this guy wash his hands after he pees or not? And it's that determination whether or not I touch anything important after I shake that person's hand. And I'm not fucking kidding.
What, like your credit cards?
Anything. I'll go right to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
But
Don't wash your hands.
I'm not a germ freak, but I just don't trust people.
I don't trust people either.
See, I shake somebody's hand and then I wipe
I'll
my
take
hand.
all the germs. Yeah, fuck it.
I can't actually remember the last time I shook someone's hand.
I worked in restaurants for too long. I can't think of any about any of that stuff. Like all the plates that I cleared and all that kind of stuff. There's just I can't think about it like that at all.
But you get
well, you're probably immune to a bunch of stuff then.
Exactly.
It builds your natural.
Build up your immunity.
Builds character. Puts hair on your chest.
The food is the worst.
Puts hair on your chest.
The food was either in the dirt or it was inside an animal at some point.
Well, a person being inside a person is.
But see,
think of all the crap that's in your mouth.
Most of the live stuff is okay to eat. It's the things that are decomposing that are the danger. And what grows out of that, the bacteria and things.
That's why you gotta cook your food all the way.
Mushrooms.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they say that the human body is like 10 trillion cells, and only 1 trillion are human cells.
Yeah, the rest are nanobots.
So you have that. Well, that's what I was kind of going to get to, is that they've proven that they can control very simple cell bacteriums with nanite type tech. So if that's the case, you have 9 trillion cells that are not human that you yourself are carrying around, and how many of those are nanite controlled? So it starts to make you wonder.
Wait, like, nanite controlled?
None in my body.
Could be.
I do frequency healing.
Could be. Obviously not now. Yeah, really? Does that work?
Hell yeah, it works.
Are you talking like
totally works
to kill the nanites? I mean,
to kill
a mockingbird, which is no longer allowed in some schools in Missouri, apparently.
A mockingbird is no longer allowed in schools?
To kill a mockingbird because the word nigger is used within it.
Oh, please.
Why not just take the word out? Take the word out.
That was both the most elegant and abrupt segue I have ever heard.
You're welcome. It just reminded me of it, and it just really pissed me off because this word that was written 100 years ago or whenever it was written is no longer acceptable to be in school classroom.
I was actually just looking this up last night because Ben and I were having a discussion about where that word came from.
It's an aberration of Negro, I thought.
Describing, right.
Well, there's a country called
because
Niger,
it means black.
Right.
No, in Spanish, it means black.
Right.
It's just negro.
It is, but that's Negro.
But the word, the way they spelled it was Niger.
And the slur just came from
that's Niger.
Right.
Poor enunciation.
That's the way they Spanish spelled it.
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Right.
Yep.
So that's where that came from.
And then it became
in our vocabulary.
The point is, though,
my doctor's in Niger.
There's so many books.
He's actually from Niger.
I know. I think you told me that before.
He's a really cool guy.
Think of all
I'm trying to get him to go snowboarding.
Think of all the books that have that word in it. Especially, I just saw an interview with someone, and they asked, "What's your favorite book?" and what book would you recommend people read? And it was like Miss America or some shit like that. But her recommendation was the book called Native Son by Richard, whatever his name is. I forgot his name. It's an old book about Native Son's about a black kid who gets caught up in a murder of a white woman. I don't remember if he does it or not, or is blamed for it. I don't remember, but
isn't that To Kill a Mockingbird?
They all Richard have. Wright. Richard Wright? Thank you. Don't they all have the same plot? Pretty much,
right? There's no original think anymore with these people.
Now don't tell me that you can't tell them apart.
I can't. No, I can. Because the thing that stuck out about Native Son to me is, if I remember the story correctly, he they burned the body, and he found or put the bones into the furnace. I think he found them, and it was highly disturbing to him in the book, or at least it was highly disturbing to me. So
He put the bones in the furnace?
something like that. They burned the body. I might be thinking of a different book.
No, that was Fried Green Tomatoes.
No, it wasn't. I didn't see that.
No, they put the bodies in the hall. Then
Don't make me look it up.
said that it was barbecue and fed it to the sheriff.
That was Fried Green Tomatoes.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
And it was actually Edward Edwards that did it.
Are you reading the Cliff Notes?
Who's taking notes?
I said, were you reading the Cliff Notes?
Oh,
I don't think
Speaking
they're
of
called Cliff
Frisbee.
Notes anymore, Jerry. You got to get up to speed on that.
They have Cliff
really?
Notes.
What are they called now?
I don't know. Spark Notes. Spark Notes.
Cliff was offensive to some guy named Clifford or
Oh,
something.
I'm sure.
I don't know. They're called Spark Notes.
He's like, screw you! I've never taken any notes. Oh man, have you guys ever heard of Season Weed? You guys ever heard of Susan Weed?
Susan Wheat?
Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
No.
Nobody. Oh. She's
What
she's an
context?
herbalist. She's an herbalist, and she's a green witch. I guess I've invited her to come on to interview.
Cool.
But she's a super. I've listened to a few of her podcasts, and she'll be talking about, oh, you use comfrey for this and raspberry leaf for that. Men fucking suck. They're the bane of society.
Oh my god.
And then it goes on to it's so I'm a little leery about it, but at the same time I think it's going to be great.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Show her how much men don't suck. Give us a positive representation.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
What
I'm
is
trying to
all
wrap
this
my head
shit about
around like how
men
to
suck?
change her. Well,
Or-
it's funny in the beginning of her book, she's like, wise women
Neo-feminism.
care.
I
Well,
know,
she's like 80
crap
something,
is
so
bullshit.
she's actually still stuck in second wave, is what it is.
Oh boy.
Feminism, but
Second wave.
Like
But she's
Braun
a-
Well,
Burns.
tell her that was all funded by the Rockefellers.
oh yeah, totally.
Second
Yeah,
wave.
that's what I'm gonna do is point it out. Yeah.
Second-
Just so
She's
that
gonna
they
hate
could
it.
get
Guys,
all the
guys.
tax money.
Guys, second wave feminism are first place losers.
Totally.
Jesus.
Never been a feminist. Want you
I
to
don't know.
open my goddamn door and pay for my dinner, and I will give you sex later.
That's right. But
Hang on a second. I'm taking notes.
What about the hand job? What about the hand job? With the prostate massage for 5 cents extra.
So you guys really don't think that there's a Tesla in space right now?
I don't know.
is there a
no,
picture
there's
of it?
no Tesla
Is there a
in space.
drone flying around it so we can see a live
They
image?
have
There
two
was.
cameras.
When it was
How all of a
real-
sudden have we had no cameras in space, and then all of a sudden Elon launches this stupid fucking car,
No, we've
and
had
now we
cameras in-
have cameras in space? Give me
We've
a
had cameras
break.
in space for years.
But the camera cut out.
Where?
The camera cut out
Just had
after
a
it made it.
video feed from the ISS for a long time, and
That's
then
because
the-
there's no.
That's low Earth orbit.
No,
The
they don't
camera
make-
was.
Hubble
They're
has a
low
camera
Earth
on it.
orbit.
No, guys. The Wi-Fi doesn't go that far. That's what they said.
Why not? Sure.
If they don't have Wi-Fi in the Atlantic, how
Dude,
the
it's line of
fuck
sight.
do they have Wi-Fi in space?
They don't have
think-
it anywhere. It's a
Wait a minute.
joke.
I think
It's
Neil
not-
deGrasse was saying
I
how
know it's a
Wi-Fi can get
joke.
to Mars in like 20 minutes or something.
So here's the hard part. One, it's not Wi-Fi.
Here, let me look it up. What he said.
Yeah, it is. It isn't the Wi-Fi that we understand. It's like a direct signal.
No.
Like,
Right.
That's right. Yeah.
it's way different. Not
So I
just.
actually went and talked to the Deep Space
That's
Network guys at JPL. They
Oh.
they run the interplanetary internet stuff.
Oh,
and
so
they
the
get-
guys that are totally under hypnosis.
Yeah, those guys. Yeah, they're baby eating Satan worshippers.
No, I didn't say that. They're under
No,
Elon Musk
Those
I know
are
you-
those are
hypnosis.
those are Suzanne's family, the Nephilim. So good for them.
The Nephilims, yeah. Don't talk shit about the Nephilims because we'll come after you, motherfuckers.
Is that why you never send us a video feed? You're afraid we're going to be terrified of you?
the Nephilim.
You see me on video?
Oh, they live
I have-
underground. Come on,
I've never seen you on video.
Suzanne. She's
Oh.
on all the time. Oh, that sounds like
You
Oh.
and I talked to
Dude, them's fighting
about
words.
the.
I'm sandbagging. Forget it. I'm being stupid.
Don't worry about it.
Don't be
We
stupid.
remember we talked
I do.
about the whole thing with
We did
the blah blah blah.
Death
yeah, we
trap.
did a test with the mic the first time I used this mic.
Illuminati's.
Yeah, but the remote viewing thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it
And my
just
double pair of glasses on.
isn't it just fun to
I
just
don't remember the glasses, but okay.
think about, just the magic if there is a car in space? Like can't we just have that moment?
For
No,
sure.
we can't
I think
because
it's
I don't want to poo-poo it. I don't want to poo-poo it right off the bat because it doesn't affect me either way if it did or didn't happen. It's fun though.
I will
it
tell
does,
you
though.
that
They're taking your fucking tax dollars, dude.
the only time I participate
I'm
in
gonna
this
get taxed regardless. However they stop.
to you
Let him
guys,
finish talking.
Here I am.
Hi. The only time I participate in this timeline is when I'm talking to you guys.
Participate in this
So in the
timeline.
timeline that I'm hanging out in, there actually
In
is
this
a
timeline.
I am from planet. Sorry, I just ruined it. Didn't I? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Who's going ahead?
The only time you
That guy.
participate in this timeline is
When he's here to talk to us.
Nomad.
no.
Hurry, do it. Finish your sentence before
What's up?
it gets off the rails, that guy.
Yeah, I don't want to interrupt.
I said it.
I missed it. 'Cause I
We
was
missed it.
I was talking.
I said the only time that I'm part of this timeline where there is no Tesla in space and Earth is a flat torus, which would make it, I think, like a washer. The only time that I'm in this timeline is when I'm talking to you guys, and the timeline that I'm normally in, there actually is a Tesla in space.
I love it. It's so
I don't
true.
see what it hurts to believe that it's out there.
Oh, it is. It's just not in this particular timeline that I'm in right now.
Yeah,
I love you, that guy.
it's not in the hive.
Has Rick and Morty taught you nothing?
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm running the. If you guys put on the live feed, you can see I'm pushing the Starman video out now, so you can see what everyone got to see.
Jerry, quit pushing your shit.
I'm pushing my shit, man. This is
Did you watch Matt's videos, Jared?
not yet. I've been.
And
You
doing
haven't
my-
watched any of Matt's videos about how it goes to
You're
heavy
really loud.
metal?
You're loud. Yes,
Sorry,
I know.
I'm
I
sorry.
saw. I
Because
saw.
I'm really mad.
Yes.
Okay. Well, listen. I saw those.
That was the first thing I told Ruthanna. That
Where do you think Elon got the idea?
exactly.
Yeah, no kidding.
I know. I said it's just like heavy metal.
is that a
Actually,
game?
no. It's an old movie. It's a
It's
movie.
an animated.
Matt,
It was a movie. It was an underground comic for a long time.
Yeah,
Uh,
still is.
I just
Matt
don't
used
understand how he
Speed
launched
Racer's
the car
Mach 5.
on the same day that the flat Earth guy didn't get off the ground. Like,
Dun,
how did
dun,
that
dun.
happen on the same day?
Well, it
Dude, he
didn't
took his magic. It takes magic to get in space. You can
Yeah.
only launch one at a time.
Exactly.
Or $5 billion of U.S. taxpayer money. I'm reading.
I think
I think
Dude, I'm
it's
paying
like-
less in taxes this year. Like, I'll take it. I'm fine. My taxes, I'm paying less in federal income tax, so it doesn't bother me. Like, I've been getting raped
Yeah.
for the last 2 years.
Trump
And
was
for-
probably like, "Hey, Apple, bring some of your money back from Ireland, and we'll shoot a car into space, and we'll put an iPod on there with you can advertise your iTunes, whatever. Just give us $5 billion to send it off into space first."
Well, God knows they need something because Tim Cook is driving them into the ground.
if you guys have a look right now, can you pull up the stream? Can everyone?
It's tough, though. I mean, he was handed some. It's like, have you ever fathered someone else's child? It's not that easy.
Never
Yeah.
more than a couple of
I
times.
have never done that.
Tim Cook's, Tim
The 10
Cook's,
years
you
I
know.
did.
Tim Cook's a gay man,
So
and he has a kid, and we're talking
No.
about it.
no, what I'm saying
Oh,
is
okay.
like,
No,
you've
it's
had
an
a step-
analogy.
if you've had a step kid, basically Apple is his stepchild, and you just don't care as much about your stepchild.
It's
Well,
fucking,
he's in charge of it. It should be his child.
I don't think that he
Now.
doesn't care about it. I think
I
that
don't
he's
know.
just trapped for a leader.
He doesn't.
Yeah, well,
he doesn't
that's
have the
true, I guess.
vision and drive that
Yeah.
Steve Jobs had, nor the
Not a job.
NSA connections.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well,
That's true.
I don't know. I think all those came with it. No,
No,
I
well,
don't think so.
no. The intro came with it, but the you can't have affinity, just on a handshake. That just doesn't work.
Yeah.
I wanted to say to everyone who's watching the video right now to keep an eye out for the bubbles that appear behind the car every time it goes into darkness.
What can I look at to see this? Because I can't.
The
see
live
it.
stream.
How do
What
I-
about all those little
up-
things
pull it
that
up
are
on YouTube
shooting
and-
off? The little white things that are
That's what I'm
shooting off.
talking about.
Those are bubbles.
Wait. Michael, just pull up the live
Yeah,
stream
okay.
and just press mute and play. Sorry, what, Suzanne?
Those are bubbles.
I don't know. I'm calling them bubbles. I looked at it last night very closely and I can't tell what they are. I would say that the argument that they could be stars is
Well, they're definitely not stars.
What if they're
plausible.
orbs?
It's wait. I think it's plausible they could be stars, but it doesn't explain why
They
there
were
aren't
shooting off,
way
like-
more. I know.
It
I'm just
could
look.
just be mass dust that was inside the
No, dude.
inside that
Can't be.
bearing.
It can't be.
Space debris.
That's
What am
fine.
I
There's
looking at?
no-
It says stage 2, and it's over
Yep,
a
that's it.
round-looking.
Yep. Just keep watching it.
Some sort of planetoid.
How do those doors
Okay.
come off?
Okay.
like,
Wait. Stop.
in a tenth of a second.
What's being shown?
Oh, I see those little bubbles that float
They have
up behind
explosive
it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It looks like it's in my fish tank.
Yeah. So.
So
like,
is this the Nox Mente feed?
No. It's my.
I
It's a
put the
hive.
link in Discord.
Oh,
that
hive.
guy. Going to the videos in Discord.
Here, I'll put it into the Zoom
Wait, I
chat.
put it in the wrong.
Here.
I put it in the
I'm just looking on YouTube
Right there.
trying to find it.
Look in the Zoom chat.
All right. Saturday Night Hive.
Okay, so
Better.
did you even look at the books that Elon put in on that arc
Oh,
No, I didn't have time.
No.
hologram thing? Oh, it's all about one mind, blah blah blah. I took
Okay.
screenshots.
Well, there are the lights moving across the back of the car. That kind of looks about right.
I haven't found any anomalies with the lights or the reflections. I do notice a distinct lack of landmass in the globe and the distinct lack of stars anywhere. But there's certainly plenty of anomalies besides that.
So what is this video that we're looking at now? I mean,
This
I
is
see
the
a
live
black
stream.
background.
Okay,
If this is a light shining on it, though, you're not going to see any stars behind it.
there's times when it's in total darkness. Hold on.
Why?
Just wait. I want to explain what we're looking at. As this
Yeah,
rocket,
I see it rotating. Is it rotating?
yeah, let me
Flipping?
finish. As this rocket
Get in there, Jerry.
took off, the cap, the cargo hold, blew its doors off, and mounted on the top of this rocket is a Tesla Roadster with the spacesuit harnessed in, right? And it's on a rotating gimbal with, I think, 1, 2, 3 cameras. And the shots switch 1, 2, 3 occasionally, and then they'll go back and show you the trajectory occasionally too. So you'll see the arc over the globe. And what else is there about it? That's about it. It's just on its way, and the feed lasted 4 hours, and that's what I'm playing. It's just like
It's still on its way to Mars.
it's going to take 3 months to get there. Mars
Oh,
is
okay.
50 million miles away, dude.
I don't know. It's the biggest rocket
There's no
ever
such
made. I
thing
thought for
as
sure it would get there in instantly.
light years.
No. Well, plus they've got to stop at the asteroid belt because Starman's got to take a leak. So
Mm-hmm.
Why is this
Yeah,
not
it's gonna be
moving?
awesome if some creature comes and sits beside him and is like fondling his little ears thing or whatever.
We'll never see it though because there's no cameras on anymore.
Why isn't this moving? Or is it?
I saw
It's
the
really hard
shadow
to tell.
on. I saw
It's
the
I saw the
light's
shadow.
moving.
Very slow.
The light's moving across his face. So
Oh yeah, there's a thing in the back right now. There's a looks like a spot of some kind
It's shining up on the
drifting
hood.
from left to right across
I'm
the.
just watching on the OBS. It didn't look like it was moving at all.
And it looks like there's stuff that's coming out of the vehicle, like little bits of stuff.
yeah,
Is that
that's
a pair of
probably
sunglasses?
too,
Stuff.
actually.
Bits of what? Of like book or
Someone's ashes.
That could be.
maybe.
I'm still thinking there's somebody dead somehow is on that thing getting launched.
So there's a white dot that's drifting off just to the side of the driver's side.
Yep.
Driver's side mirror.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is.
If it's blinking,
It's rotating.
Alien.
It's something that's rotating. I've seen it in a few
Oh.
shots.
See what you're saying?
Look for land masses.
There's another one.
There's no land.
okay, so here comes Earth.
Only clouds. See, Carl
Oh,
is
wow.
agreeing with me.
I see the reflection. There it is in the mirror. What is it? Is it tumbling?
I think so.
What's the
Mhm.
reflection on his face mask?
The light.
I wanna
The
know.
The
sun. I
sun.
guess.
The sun. So now when the car,
How is it not tumbling? Why is it so perfectly straight like that?
I don't ask,
Because supposedly there's a rocket underneath it.
'cause no one can hear you scream. in
Oh,
space.
there's still a rocket under it?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
yeah. I don't, this is at an angle.
I should just look this up instead of asking.
Yeah,
someone
exactly.
questions.
It's just
It's
go
okay.
Google it.
There's
No,
a
it's,
mount. The
Wait.
car's on a mount.
it's mounted like a fucking Hot Wheel on top of. Where's my camera?
On top of the little base thing that you got to unscrew. Well,
Well,
not
then
Hot
what
Wheels,
is
but
this?
for like those other cars, you got to unscrew them. Otherwise, your kid would go nuts. If you don't hurry
Oh,
up,
Jesus.
give them their car.
I don't see why they didn't put a robot there instead of a mannequin. Seems like it would be so much more fun if it was doing things.
Like waving.
If
and
it was
stuff.
talking to us.
Yeah. Well, if
Like,
I think
look.
it would be. I think
Look,
it'd be
Suzanne.
faster
like
to
a sex,
tweet.
if you put a sex
I can see
robot in there, think of
California.
how many more hits this thing would get.
Can you?
Yeah, one of those Gazorpazorp sex robots. That would be cool.
Totally.
Yes.
Those are
Bunch of
those
I
things
think
that just steal
Elon
your
should have
DNA,
gone.
man.
No,
Hey,
I think what would be very cool is
Elon
if you
sent
could
his clone.
tweet and get it to do things. You know, like raise the whole,
The double
the
signs.
horns thing, or give the finger.
How about
Or like sometimes when you check in on it, it's doing like it's got its
God, I
Daisy
can't even
Dukes
do
on and
Spock's thing.
it's leaning over the hood
Live long
like
and
it's
prosper.
like it needs some help fixing something. Okay, now what's this?
I'm totally retarded. Wait, I can barely do it.
What is why?
What does
what's
he
this
say
balloon thing?
when he says this?
What is this balloon thing?
Okay, we're looking
That's
at
the engine.
Live long
That's-
and
Probably what's
prosper.
that's
holding
the
up the car.
rocket exhaust, whatever they call it.
It's in low Earth orbit.
Oh, okay.
So that thing is tumbling.
Tumble.
Look, I'm not drinking beer.
Why not?
Mm.
What the hell's wrong with you?
Because I was getting too
Now,
fat.
is it tumbling or is it rolling?
That piece of thing
It's just flying.
was tumbling. Think of it as a 2x4 white piece of plastic that's tumbling end over end. But slowly.
Oh, did they?
Hmm?
Did they do the?
Here's where you can see the bubbles now.
all right.
Once the shine, coming up.
All right.
I'm watching the feed ahead of you guys. You'll see once the shine moves past the camera event horizon, whatever that eclipse level, where the flare goes away,
The Terminator, yeah.
the termination line, the bubbles will come into play.
Oh, okay.
And you can see them in the back. Well, I don't want to call them bubbles. The white things that are ascending.
They're alien ships.
Well,
I think that's just crap.
It's
that's
the
flying
secret
out of-
space program.
dude.
Yeah.
This you got to think. This thing is flying up. Or I'm sorry, the direction it's going. Wait, let's think about this.
It looks like it's rolling around its axis of travel.
The car is on a spindle. The car is spinning.
Yeah.
Okay, so the rocket's stationary, driving away from the Earth, flying away from Earth.
Now, did they actually do the burn to make it leave orbit?
Yes, they're
Oh,
out of
cool.
they're out of orbit.
Allegedly.
Watch for the next thing where it says stage 2. The blue line is where it hasn't been yet. That's the proposed trajectory of this thing.
I'm not seeing that.
Which they overshoot.
They'll show it in a little bit. Yeah, they
No, what
overshot
I'm
it.
saying is in the feed that we're looking at on YouTube, you can't see that piece of the video.
What do you mean you can't see it? It's not. They haven't shown it yet.
No, I'm
It
watching.
seems like they
okay, I
could have
see what's
spent the
going
money on something else. It would have helped someone
It
else.
doesn't matter. This is giant marketing / test.
Well, you got to
campaign.
have some kind of mass in there, and why not?
Okay, right, exactly. Why not a 14,000-pound car?
They've never tested by
Not this rocket. This is
No,
the
you
first
just
one.
shot it into space. They didn't test a heavy payload. They
Yeah,
just decided to take Tesla's own car
Now check out
and put it into space.
There's a landmass.
There's a landmass coming up. I don't know what it is. Could be Australia. But look
you can see my house from here. Cool.
Look at how the light.
Can you see me giving the finger?
Look at how the light isn't right. I'm not calling it fake. I'm just saying, look how the hot spot cuts off right at that crack, at that edge. It's got a hard edge. What?
Don't bow to these people.
I'm not. What the fuck are you talking about? I think that's South America.
Never change, Suze.
I won't. Trust me.
Anyway, it's difficult to see what land masses are underneath. They look like they've been blurred.
It just looks all like clouds, like chemtrails.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you should have seen today.
That does look like South America.
That's Australia.
Fuckers.
Yeah.
You can't tell. But you know what I don't see?
I think it's Australia.
An ice wall.
A what?
An ice wall.
Why would they go over the ice wall? I mean, that would be so obvious.
Why would
what
there be?
The hell?
Why would there be an ice wall on a globe?
Why would they even go over Antarctica or the Arctic?
Well, the Earth is spinning and they're moving away from it, so it's going to rotate into view. Depending.
Yeah, they don't.
You would think.
Well, right now it's summertime in the southern hemisphere, so it should be illuminated on about the time that
every day illuminated. It's the tilt that drives the
no,
24 hours.
I said illuminated, but I meant to say visible. Right, so it has.
Don't they have 24-hour sun right now?
No.
Yeah.
The top.
Yeah. How come that tire didn't pop?
That was my other.
Why didn't all 4 tires pop?
Okay, well, you want to talk?
Wait,
let's talk some hard science here.
They probably planned this.
Why didn't the glass or the rubber or the fiberglass or the carbon fiber should melt?
The glass should have shattered.
And the heat, right, and the glass shattered. You've got, what's the temperatures in space are like minus 400 Kelvin, right? Absolute zero?
Well,
I haven't
depends on what part of space.
All space is supposed to be minus 473 Kelvin. It's like absolute zero. I'm pretty sure that would fracture glass.
So, not necessarily.
Okay, the pressure?
Maybe the glass was made in space.
The temperature here, like houses melted here.
All I'm saying is
California
it looks like they took a
from
regular
forest fires.
It looks like,
question is
wait.
Yeah, but California is made of snowflakes. So
go, Jerry.
They took a regular fucking car and they launched it into space, and it works. There's no environmental damage whatsoever. So is it just an area that has no air? You know? Because if it's a vacuum, that car should be fucked up a little bit more, I think.
Wouldn't it crinkle?
I think it should be melted and shattered, yeah.
No, you can put stuff that's painted in a vacuum chamber and it doesn't screw it up, so.
But I didn't see that it was in a pressurized cabin when it left.
No, well, who said it has to be in a pressurized cabin? You take stuff and you put it in a vacuum chamber and decompress it all the time, and it doesn't.
It's going 27,000 miles an hour in space.
Yeah, but it's not hitting anything. That's
how is it not hitting anything? Look at all the fucking stupid satellites we're supposed to have out there, and all of the goddamn shit that's supposedly hitting us all the time, all the asteroids and crap. How is it not hitting? It's not hitting absolutely anything.
Well, because it's a lot.
Earth is populated by 3 billion people. How come you haven't bumped into anybody in the last 5 minutes?
Look, here's shit going by coming up. If you watch the engine,
because I don't like anybody, and I stay in my house.
All right,
I know,
Suzanne, listen. What if? Not what if.
There should be bodies piling up outside.
Never mind.
There are.
Oh, I know. It's really allegedly a big place up there in space. So the satellites are spread out. I don't think it's like what they say, if they are there. Here comes the stage rocket
all
thing.
The satellites now, isn't it?
No, there's satellites out for up to 1 million miles away, allegedly.
Oh, really? I thought the majority of them were between like 100 and 200 miles.
No, because then
not what they say.
Then you would be seeing them by the ISS because that's at 240 miles. And you never see
a lot of the stuff is in low Earth orbit, but the geosynchronous stuff is in a band sort of around the equator at 22,600 or something.
Something like that.
Why didn't this dude get irradiated? Why didn't anything happen to his suit when he went through the Van Allen belts?
Because it's not
I can't
No radiation?
Wait. I can't stop this, so I'm just going to tell you. If you watch, there's a cigar-shaped object over the Earth that's very large in the upper right quadrant of the globe. It's coming up.
Okay.
It's there now. You can see it in the window on the right side. It's like a black
It's through the
line.
glass.
You see the black line?
Oh, that's just a rocket. That's
No.
just a rocket tube.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
What?
Yeah, because
Holy
if
crap.
you look on
Why is it
if you
just
look
sitting
on
there?
these, because it's not very far away probably. If you look on Graham gave me this way to look at the astrology for all the different stars and everything, and it also shows you all the satellites and all the space junk.
Wait, the astrology or astronomy?
It's an it's an astrology app
Yeah.
that it also shows you all the space junk wherever you're looking.
Oh, Stellarium?
Astrology and space junk?
Yep.
It's like Stellarium. I have that.
Astronomy. I'm sorry. Was I saying astrology? I said it.
You
I
are.
meant
It's
astronomy.
okay.
We know what you meant.
Yep. Astronomy.
I just haven't seen any astrological.
And I was surprised at how
programs
much
do
junk
that.
it shows you that's out there. So that's what I would say that is. It's just a rocket hull sitting floating.
Perhaps. What about the
Somewhere
what?
out there, I've got a sock.
Somewhere
I'm missing a sock. And I know
out
that
there.
it must be in orbit because it's definitely not an house.
Socks and plastic combs, the two things that just
Exactly.
apport everywhere. Like
That's the missing matter.
the dark matter that's been disproven now. Like
That makes up the ether.
800 times.
All the missing socks and underwear that the
Mhm.
washer eats and the dryer.
So why don't panic? What does that mean?
I don't know. I also wanted to point out the
Don't
Keck,
panic.
Hitchhiker's
It's
Guide to the
from the
Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide.
the Keck like nature of that thing.
Look at those frog eyes.
The frog eyes with the big mouth saying "Don't panic." It's kind of kecky.
Yeah, don't
yeah.
panic. Don't panic is from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was
Right,
Correct.
I forgot about that.
It was a slogan.
Yeah.
And
It
don't
totally does look like a frog
That's
face.
so witty.
Well,
It's more like a Hello
was
Kitty.
the 70s.
But like I was talking to Nish about this the other night. The thing about the Keck thing is like that the molding for the dashboard. Here comes some bubbles, by the way. The molding for the dashboard, the design for that was done years ago, before even this Keck stuff started. There's a slow moving object in the back upper right here too. You can see it. There's lots of odd things floating off in the distance that are barely lit, but
Holy crap, that does look like Keck, doesn't it?
it does. So anyone, I've been saying my argument is, where are the stars? Why can't I see any stars? And people say, oh, it's exposure levels, blah, blah, blah. Well, this camera that they're using has an auto exposure, and it's proven by you'll see when it comes into the Earth, you can't see any details. It's just bright.
Yeah.
And then the exposure level goes down, it cools off, and you can see things on the Earth, the details like clouds and water. So when the exposure level goes up again, when the Earth is out of view, that's when you start seeing these anomalies, the white things, and they're all going relatively up to the direction the car is moving, which is in an arc, like this, according to that blue line, right?
Said it was going like this.
Right, like that. My hand's not going the right way. It's going over the globe like that. My point is that those
And
things
then
are
like all the
going.
bubbles are going
They're
up.
all going this way relative to the car. They're all going up. My camera.
Could they be satellites?
No, like you've got the rocket going this way, but all the bubbles and things are going past it this way. You'll see, it's past the Earth. If you watch it, I mean, that's just what I've observed. I don't understand why, and you don't ever see any going like sideways or down. They're always going up and away. And if it was dust from the car, I would expect to see them all move in a uniform direction and speed. Some of these things are moving faster than the vehicle itself.
So if the vehicle is rotating, well, let me get in front of the camera. If the vehicle is rotating like this, if it's rolling around its axis of travel, right?
It's rotating.
Which it seems to be.
It's rotating flat on a zero you know, in a
I
360
thought it was
degree
just
motion.
going like this.
And it's moving in a
It
circle.
doesn't show it going underneath or
Yeah, let
going.
me see if I've got something.
It doesn't go
flipping.
underneath. It just goes in a circle at that tipped angle.
So
Yes.
so if it's if the thing is traveling this way, right,
Mhm.
and it's rotating, right, this way,
Hold
It's
it up and down and rotate it. It's
Distantly.
more accurate.
I would expect.
That's not what's happening.
I didn't see
Well,
it
it's doing
move
this.
like this
Car-
at all.
The
doing
car,
this.
It's
it's
going
not.
like this.
Car is
It's like it's on a
moving-
road.
It's sitting on top here.
Yes, the
and
car is
it's
rotating on top
turning like
independently
this.
of the rocket.
So
Yes, like that.
Oh, really?
Yes.
is it like gimbal or something?
Road.
It's sitting on top here.
Yes, the
And
car is
Oops.
rotating.
Because it looked like the car was mounted
I got a picture. I'll
sort
put it-
of.
I think we should.
It looked
I
like the
think
car
we-
was mounted this way with.
I got a
Let's see if
picture.
I can
Just
do
hold
this
on.
right.
It will answer all your questions.
It looked like it was mounted that way,
No,
right? So the motor would be down here
it's not.
and
what
the
it's
car is
doing.
here, and it's parallel to the axis of travel.
Doesn't matter. Show you.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Here. Look on the screen,
And maybe it takes more research.
or watch the feed rather. Flip the screen. There we go.
I'm going to get a meeting with Elon Musk. I'm going to give him some truth.
Okay, I just
serum.
pushed it out to the feed.
We should call him up.
Should be here any second.
Yeah, let's get him on the show.
Definitely.
I already sent him an invite. No, I
And
He's not going to come.
did he say GFY?
didn't. You said come.
That's yeah, that's where my brain right went.
Who said I was a
Well, he
Gonna-
would come,
dude?
but
I'm,
you know,
I'm
he's
not a
gonna
grammar
be
Nazi.
here.
What the fuck? Okay, it's on. It's showing now. That is the rocket that this thing is on, and the car
Jobs.
is
Okay.
spinning around in a circle. The rocket's
Oh,
stationary.
somewhere. I'm missing a video. Damn.
What?
It's in the live feed. I'm not going to turn it off till you see it.
I think I just closed it.
God damn it, that guy. What the
I know.
fuck?
Cheap Japanese crap.
I'm gonna get stoned.
What the hell happened to my?
Dude,
There
just
you are.
open the
That's
browser.
not real. No way.
No, this is not real. This is an illustration of what. This is an
It looks
illustration.
more real than the fucking car in
All right,
space.
all right. Well, just so everyone is clear on what we're looking at, the car is rotating.
No way.
The car is rotating at that angle, that 45 in a circle.
Okay.
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 What car?
So like this.
No, I said what, Carl?
What's the dart? No, it's the dart. Put the car on the top of the dart
Well,
They should have
Okay.
put a Dodge Dart into space.
at a
I would've
45-degree
I would
angle,
have believed that
right from
more.
the center. That's what you're looking at. Yes. Yeah.
Like,
Pretty
how
much.
come a Maserati or a Bentley or any of those things haven't been sent out there yet?
It's his.
so now technically the Veyron is not the fastest car ever.
There you go.
Correct.
The Tesla Roadster is.
Well, you'd have to
Yeah,
just
but
say
it's not
on
under
Earth.
its own power.
So it's still the fastest car ever.
Unfortunately, because the car's spinning, it's impossible. Well, it's difficult to tell the trajectory of where the rocket came from, from underneath or over or from the side. You know what I mean, Vern? Hey, Vern. There's that. See, I think it's Australia,
Yeah, it looked like Australia to me.
or it's
See, what I think is, I think that you're looking at the video feed from my timeline in your timeline.
okay.
I don't know. I've been watching this for half an hour, and the Earth looks closer now.
It does seem to move a bit. I saw that.
Seems like it should be
What if
much
we're having a
farther away.
multi-dimensional, multi-timeline video feed? That would be cool.
Pretty cool.
Well, that's only possible through the use of quantum computing.
Like, for example,
Somebody just told us the fucking truth.
in this
Did
timeline,
watch
in
the Cloverfield
timeline I'm in
paradox?
Well,
when
speaking
it
of
gets below
quantum,
zero, when it gets below the freezing point, telephone poles and light poles taste like peanut butter.
You know, that's true. Only the metal ones. The wooden ones, that doesn't
Right, no,
matter.
Yeah,
I don't
those
like the
taste like wood.
cold though.
Yeah.
All right. Someone has
But I could go for
someone
peanut
has
butter
shown a video
and
to
metal
me
poles.
that points out apparently fakery in space. I don't believe it.
You talking about Doc? The video that
Fakery
was
in space? Yeah, he sent me a bunch of
Yeah.
stuff, but I
I'm gonna
can't
put,
open it.
I'm gonna put it up on the thing. Do another
fakery.
screen cap.
See,
I don't buy it.
he should have sent
Good
a
job,
bottle
Jock.
of scotch with it.
Good job, Doc.
All right.
Bottle of scotch. Here's
Yeah.
some fakery. Here's some space fuckery. Here's some scotch.
What do you
It's
want
some
first?
some expensive crap like Pappy Van Winkle or some shit.
What do you want first? Okay, I gotta do this.
Happy Van
This
Winkle.
up like this, like this. All right.
It'd be much better if that huge rocket engine was full of like dish soap so that he could be blowing off bubbles this whole time. That'd be fun.
Well, what were those white things we were seeing? Weren't those bubbles?
Don Ho in space.
Ooh, this one's titled Fake X, so I'm already liking it.
Uh-oh.
I always say fake X.
Why we love you, Suzanne.
I hate Elon so much.
Why?
Because he left his wife and 4 kids for some fucking skank.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Sorry.
We're talking about Elon?
I'm sure they got some pretty good money out of it, though.
That freaking guy.
I don't know.
U.S. taxpayers will be paying his alimony for decades.
That's
you guys watching the
right.
feed, the show where the doors open?
No.
Well, yeah, because they couldn't launch the actual car through the
Atmosphere.
Yeah,
the
but it
atmosphere.
opens in like a tenth of a second.
This is what it was in.
How's that happen?
Because that... Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what happened now?
That's called AGC, automatic gain control. And they do it on audio and they do it on video as well.
What does that mean?
It means
English?
the exposure. It's too much light, so it cuts down the. So
Yeah,
it's,
so...
Is this a movie you
So we
made,
can't
Jared?
see the.
No. Someone else's.
No, it's not that you can't see it. It's when when it's relatively dark and suddenly it's very bright.
And all the
So the doors could have come off at a normal speed, but we can't see it.
they flew off. Once they open it, that's it.
Yeah.
How'd they come off in a tenth of a second? They're heavy ass doors.
Once they open up, I think that whole.
Why didn't they blow forward?
Because it's like a shell that collapses. Once it opens, it goes. It blows off. It's not like Star Trek door opening. It's the shell at the top of the rocket that opens up and flies off.
Yeah, they don't do that kind of stuff with motors. They do it with explosive bolts because the bolts are cheaper and smaller and lighter weight and all the rest of it. Yeah.
But you're gonna explode doors off of a space vehicle when there's gas and shit.
There's no explosions
in there.
Yeah, well, so the gas and shit is in the back, and there's not many ways to do that. There's no drag.
It's just a release mechanism.
Yeah,
I don't trust it. I think it's bullshit.
If you're trying to get the pieces of the fairing off.
Did you see how heavy those doors were? Did you look at the picture where they're showing the Tesla inside?
What is that?
Yeah, what is all that crap?
I'm reading here. It says they have a single hinge on the door.
Something coming in and going out via wormhole.
It's a 4-bar system. That's what it is. Regular hinge. Remember, this is a test rocket. They didn't give a shit if it blew up.
When you say it's a 4-bar system, are you talking about fluid pressure?
The hinges on the doors.
The door hinges, so probably fluid pressure, yeah.
Because 4-bar is a lot. I mean, 5-bar is what we get coming out of volcanoes.
Well, then they're probably not talking about that. Oh, I'm reading the wrong thing. It's from 3 years ago. Falcon 9 User's Guide. How about that?
Only the heavy Falcon 9.
The heavy was the...
They used the heavy. That was the one that they...
I know. Oh,
okay.
That's something we could talk about. The fact... Okay, so the difference between the heavy... Let me just close my window.
And the regular?
Okay, is a third rocket. That was a third...
Well, it's the second rocket. It's 3 cores instead of 1.
Right, 3 cores instead of 1. And the third core landed in the ocean, but the two left and right cores landed on the pads on Canaveral, right? That was kind of weird, but whatever. The one out in the water, though, they of course lost the feed, and then we still haven't heard whether or not the rocket was recovered because it was.
Yeah, it wasn't. It fell in the ocean. It missed the.
Heard.
Yeah, it missed the platform.
I heard the U.S. government blew it up.
I heard that too.
Because we can't have an empty can coming back to Earth.
It could have happened.
Well, because it housed a secret satellite, the launch failed, and they had to destroy it.
No, that was like last time. That wasn't this time.
It was.
Is that the ice wall?
Where? I don't see it.
They were launching another secret satellite. How many of those fuckers do they have laying around?
Well, you don't even believe they have them. What are you talking about?
I don't believe they have them, but like they're just going to give us a story that we've got another 2. Well, you know what? Actually, no. If you're going to build 2 or 1, you might as well build 2. That's the whole theme of this whole space shit, right? What movie was that in?
It was in Contact.
Thank you. Build 1, build 2.
Oh, why not build 2 at twice the price?
That's right.
That's John Hurt's line. When you can build 1, why build 1 when you can build 2 at twice the price?
Well, this is all a fucking movie, so.
Well, yeah, but we're all primed for it. That's the best part. And what's sad?
I'm not primed for it.
What you know what's really kind of funny is that
I'm just mad.
The alleged real video and stuff we're shown looks faker than video we get out of Hollywood.
Yep.
Which is in and of itself some form of doublespeak, I think.
So I know that I'm not really living up to my tinfoil hat here, but
I'm not saying it's fake, dude. I'm not.
It looks pretty legit to me.
It looks as legit.
How do you even know what is legit? They've been lying to us for so many years.
But it doesn't matter. That's part of the fun.
Yes.
All right. Well, I guess I'm just a buzzkill then.
Well, no, I don't think so.
No. You made your point, and that's good. We all agree with your point, but
I
it is true that. Okay, you can keep.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm not going to go on and on about it all night. Because I get really bitchy.
Whether it's real or not, it's still we're supposed to have fun with it,
yes,
right?
Lee hit it on the head. It's magic as well.
And you also said you were talking about quantum computing, and don't quantum computers need more and more data to run faster and better?
No,
they don't.
No,
that's not true.
They do not.
AIs need more and more information to grow and learn.
So my point was, if you threw this thing out there, think of how many people are like us right now, all talking about it and entering more and more data in.
Well, then the AI is getting smart that we're figuring out that space is fake.
That actually is a well-made point, JT.
Mm-hmm.
Who's opining on it? What are people talking about? How are they talking about it? What are their opinions of it?
The zeitgeist.
Seems like this is a lost leader to me, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Well,
totally.
I think ultimately, I mean, any kind of private enterprise has to have some kind of a loss leader, and to generate interest in investments, but also they can't expect that people will fund their research just out of an altruistic desire to serve, right? I mean, some people do that, but not everybody does it. So they have to have something that people see as valuable, that they get some kind of a return from, whether it's entertainment or advertising. Like I've got my first, the first car advertised off Earth was the Tesla now.
Yeah.
So there's bragging rights. That's going to be a thing for a long time.
How can I get my neighbor to fund my vehicle for me?
Bitcoin.
There's that.
501(c)(3).
There's this one guy I know who's figured out, because he travels a lot for his job, and he was saying how he can fund like 60% of a Tesla to it, that his company will pay for it with all his travel costs. So he's thinking about getting one. And I was just like, well, doesn't the taxpayer pay the other 30%? So like, I don't understand. He's like, no, taxpayers don't pay anything. Like the whole Tesla thing.
Your neighbor's a dumbass.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm like, really? You have a job that gives you enough money to where you're actually considering buying one, and you don't know that it's super heavily subsidized by taxpayers?
These people are retarded.
Wow. But
don't
I mean,
want to know.
that's just the whole thing. I don't understand. I just look at it differently, but I don't
So
understand
do I.
how you could justify having someone else pay for your car for you. It just
Dude, I saw a guy in a Prius throw a wrapper out of his window. I about had a heart attack and wanted to ram his car because I hate litterers. Plus, that was a total oxymoron. Why are you driving a Prius? Well, you're littering. You
It's like
fucking
the ultimate fuck you.
idiot. What?
It's like the ultimate fuck you, right?
It's like the ultimate. I'm the biggest moron on earth.
No. It's like
So-
it's like ordering the garden burger with bacon and cheese.
Right.
And
But it's
and I'll
worse
tell
than that.
And
Well,
I'll tell
I used to get
there's a chef in San Diego who'll tell you that I've
The
done it.
Indian's crying, and I'm crying because he's littering. No, I just wanted to like ram his car.
garden burgers are better with cheese and bacon, though.
I know, right?
And
Totally.
a fried egg.
They're actually edible.
Fried egg. Oh my god, and a tomato.
Mm.
If I could get a glass of crude oil with it, that would be awesome.
How about some piping hot black goo?
I want the mildly hot black goo, please.
I want the what's that song?
Blended.
Have
Can
you
I
ever-
get that blended with some whip?
I used to go to a restaurant in San Diego. I don't know if it's okay for me to say this, but for me to say that.
Everything's okay for you to say.
I
All
just
right,
wouldn't say
so-
the name of it.
This is a safe space, is it? Okay, so I used to go to Urge Gastropub in San Diego. Excellent food, by the way. If you ever it's all their own, the chef's own thing, right?
Mhm.
And I used to order it with bacon and cheese, and I know that the chef would say, "Oh shit, it's that guy." And
Oh
he was
yeah,
right.
totally. I did the exact same thing. Yeah, I worked at a place, and I'd always come in, and they loved the fact the chef would come out just to say, "You're awesome for putting bacon on your garden burger."
Yeah, exactly. Well, garden burgers by themselves, aside from the fact that they're not meat. I mean, well, not necessarily aside from the fact, but just the mix of flavors is it's a nice mix of flavors, and it goes great with
Yeah,
bacon.
totally. Especially if it's fresh made.
Right. And if you think about it, most of the time, the pork that we eat is all vegetarian pork, right? So it eats nothing but grass and acorns
It's
and
kosher
stuff like that.
pork. It's kosher pork.
God, hopefully.
Well, hopefully they don't have it.
I mean, hopefully,
it's not. Hopefully, it's not the New Jersey pork where they feed the mob victims to it. But
and the poor little piggies that died before them.
or what was it? It was in Ontario there was a serial killer that had a pork farm that used to feed his victims to his pigs.
Sure.
Well, here we go back. We're circling back to fried green tomatoes. You know that.
Yeah.
Speaking
all
of dark
goes back.
comedies, have you guys
It's
ever
the
seen that
circle of
movie?
life.
Did you ever see that movie called Eating Raoul?
Oh God.
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
I love dark comedies. There was a pizza one too. Ryan, what's up, man?
Eating pepperoni.
No,
Ryan,
I think it was
I'm
called
kidding.
I Love You to Death.
What's up, guys?
how you
going
doing,
on?
bud?
Tracy
Hey, Ryan.
Ullman, Kevin Kline. Never mind.
Yes.
Welcome, Ryan.
Hey, thanks. I'm taking a packing break.
Uh-oh.
Moving.
Yeah.
nice.
No, it's
How far are you moving?
about 45 minutes away.
Oh
Just-
wow, okay.
It's a couple towns over.
Nice.
Awesome. What part of the world?
It's in Granbury, Texas, is where we're
Oh
moving.
man.
So.
Originally from Houston.
Oh yeah, all right. Yeah, we're in Fort Worth right now, so it's
Okay.
just a little bit over to the west, I guess.
I have a niece-in-law that's in McKinney.
Yeah, we actually looked in McKinney.
Small world.
Unfortunately, legal issues and custody battles, and that was too many counties over. So
Yeah.
go the other direction.
Well,
What's everybody up to? I see. Let's see. I see a kneecap.
Oh
and
yeah. Sorry, I'm lounging.
Oh yeah, Michael.
Computer screen for Cthulhu over there and Sexy Grim.
Yeah.
Who's in?
I'm on
Hey.
camera all the time. I think I can take a break.
Yeah, word.
Is there something about Grimsteak that we don't know?
This is a lot of things about Grimsteak. You don't know that guy.
He has these
Uh-oh.
beautiful.
But I have a feeling you have way more mysteries than I do.
Yeah.
That's guaranteed.
Dude, Grim, your setup, you always look lounged and relaxed, and I'm kind of jealous. I
That's
don't know.
what you gotta do. Well, dude, I also just got this new mic arm to where I can actually sit back because before I'd have to lean up all the time and it was a pain in the ass.
Dude, that's fucking
Yeah.
righteous. Is
I
it a-
dig that.
what
I
kind
like relax.
is it a newer one or newer? Newer?
It's newer.
Yeah.
It's newer. No, I got it off Amazon.
Yeah. What's the brand? Is it the NEEW?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's the one. It was only like $8.
Yeah, that's what I
And
got.
Oh,
awesome.
Wow.
So how do you guys like that? Does it work? Is it stable?
Totally.
Oh, dude, it's great. It clamps right on and like it's.
I could. Yeah. I think
Perfect.
I don't know if you have a cradle or whatever they call as a cage. For
Yeah,
yours.
it comes with the cradle, but it also came with the Yeti adapter, so you screwed that in. But yeah, dude, it's got a nice little cradle thing where you could put your style mic would go into it.
No, that's just the rod. You can turn it. I'm talking about a cradle that you won't hear when you touch the mic. You can get
Yeah,
this-
like this.
Yeah, right. I don't have one of those, but I do have one of the.
Oh yeah, mine came with one of those, and I don't know why I haven't used that.
You should
I should
because
use
it'll keep. Well, I don't really hear a lot of noise out of your mic, but I bump mine all the time.
Yeah, I got a gate, so it's pretty good.
yeah. I need to get one of those for Darren's mic because his is
Yeah.
he sits in the perfect spot all the time. He never moves it, but where I sit,
good.
it's super
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
this thing right here.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, let me click back. I need Grim.
Well, if you don't want it, send it to me, dude.
Well, no, I didn't know
That
that's what it
looks
was
like-
for.
That looks like a certain cock ring I know of.
And we're back around to the cock ring.
Aggressive. That's way too aggressive.
I gotta go get it. Let me go get it.
Back to that, doesn't it?
Is it
Where do you
ribbed
see this thing? It's crazy.
When you play this back, every time they're talking about their microphones, just say that's what she said.
That's what
Because that's what I
Damn.
kept thinking. For like everything all of you said, it was hilarious.
it happens.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Yeah, I don't know. They should have something going on with the don't panic part there.
Cheers
Like, you
getting
should
his
be
cock
playing-
rings.
It should be playing Ren and Stimpy or something.
Why?
Oh, that'd be great. Or if they're actually playing Rick and Morty.
Oh, dude.
It'd be mind blowing.
All right, now Jerry, unless you're a big man, that's camera's pointed much too high for a cock ring.
Oh, he's gonna show us his cock ring.
Oh, I am. I bought
How
it from
many
this
spikes?
Chinese website.
Oh man.
You buy everything from that
Website's
Chinese
Chinese.
website.
What is that? That is weird.
Super-
Oh, thank you. No.
Super cock ring.
Oh my
Never-
god.
Holy mother of fuck.
Now that's
It looks like you could maybe get your middle finger and your ring
don't-
finger in that.
I haven't opened it. Nor did I ever plan on using it, but it was $1. I thought, oh, I should have one of those.
Everything around that
Hmm.
place is $1.
Couldn't imagine what your storage room is like.
I buy stuff just because it looks interesting. This has other uses.
Just
Okay, live on YouTube. Jerry,
Wow.
Jerry opens his cock ring.
It's not mine.
Dude, you should do an unboxing.
It's not yours. You're
bought
gonna
it-
give it as a gift after you show it to us.
I'm going to give it away to the first listener.
Listen.
Called the 10th caller.
Auction it off for subscription.
gently used.
I'm not even opening it up. I'm trying to.
That thing is massive.
I know,
Seriously.
but it's these. What I was reading about it, they're like super strong.
That reminds me, I got to replace the wax
Oh,
seal in my
man.
toilet upstairs.
Wow.
That's what it looks
It's the
like.
size of my thumb. Anyway,
Man, my balls hurt just looking at that thing.
I could use this for so many things. To hold things together.
yeah.
Whatever.
Hold things together. that's exactly.
It's like a clamp.
Rubber bands. Let me just buy these cock rings.
You know, I've got some flexible
They
material.
were only $1.
They were only $1. Exactly.
You must see the point.
To tie your hair up with.
Oh
you
my
could.
God.
Exactly.
I could
Phil.
totally do that.
You could. I wish they were in different colors.
Oh, I'm sure you can get them in different colors.
Not from this website.
No, for
Just spray
they'd have
paint.
to charge an extra $1.
Ryan, do you have
Do they come in purple?
wait, Ryan, do you have a podcast link other than your Stitcher link? Like a website?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is
You're
it?
good to
dude?
go.
What's Ryan? Put in
Hello.
chat. I'll put out.
Hey, Failed. What's up, brother?
Hey guys, long time no Hive.
Yeah.
Hey.
We needed
Someone
to,
is slacking.
we needed to have one tonight to mock SpaceX.
How's the Great White North?
Hey.
Great White North is very great and very white.
I knew you were going to say
Very
that.
far away from civilization.
And very male.
Yeah, and very, very penis orientated.
The Great Northern Alberta.
Jerry just found some really cool cock rings.
right,
Maybe
if
he
you-
can
you
show
might need
you.
one.
Yeah.
It can hold things together. Like two cocks.
Jesus. I see what you did there.
I know.
Man, she's losing her mind.
Things
I
are
haven't
good.
seen her like this in a while.
Oh, I haven't laughed so hard. I laughed so hard when Failed played, or I'm sorry, when Grim played this new jingle for the cryptozoology segment for Cruising with.
Hey, so Jerry, when James comes in, you got to say, "Okay, well, thanks everybody. We're good. We'll see you next time." After he's been sandbagging for an hour.
He's sandbagging?
Now that Fail's
speak
here, we
to
can
him,
end the
he's-
broadcast. No.
He's putting peeps to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Robert Phoenix, how the hell are you?
Hey, what's happening?
How you been?
Good. I just finished watching Ice Station Zebra.
Oh, sweet.
Did it give you
What's
any
that?
clues
There's
as
a classic.
to the
Cold War classic, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I saw that. It's like back when the Eagle, Where Eagles Dare, that era of movies, right?
yeah, a little bit before that, but
Before
pretty
that?
close. Yeah.
That was when all the communist assassins were rich Texas oil men.
Or Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah.
I don't think that ever went out of style, that guy.
Ernest Borgnine.
Yeah, he's the commie spy, and
The commie Texas oil guys.
I love Ernest.
you know what's
Borgnine.
interesting? So Jim Brown is in it, and he dies, but he's also in the Dirty Dozen. He dies in the Dirty Dozen too.
Borgnine does.
It's like no Jim Brown. It's
Jim
like
Brown.
Jim Brown couldn't
Oh,
make
yeah,
it out of the
right.
movie.
Is there?
Not to be ageist, but what the fuck are you guys talking about?
We're talking about old guy stuff. It's a movie, dude. It's a World War II movie called Ice Station Zebra.
It's a story that was made before there was an internet.
Yes.
Before there was CGI.
No, there was an internet. We just didn't have it
Yeah,
yet.
it's right.
True.
So do you have any comments about the SpaceX? I haven't
Earth's
heard
moving
your show
faster
yet
now.
today.
So one of my listeners sent me this email, and it was an interesting little riff. It was David Bowie played Tesla, right?
Mhm.
And
Oh,
Prestige.
from Prestige, yeah.
Yeah, and so the Roadster's headed towards Mars, and David Bowie sang "Life on Mars."
Mhm.
So apparently, the guy driving the Roadster is Bowie.
Mm.
That makes sense.
Burial in space.
Yeah, well, it's the next evolution in burying old rich people. Just we're
Right.
gonna
Launch your ass into space.
That would explain all the sequins and glitters floating up out of the passenger seat.
you'd be like, okay,
There were
so
3 Johns that died this last week too.
Three
with
what?
this
Wait,
Tesla.
3 Johns. There was a John. I forget. I always forget his last name.
West,
The guy played the
Barlow.
father. The guy played the father on Frasier.
Oh yeah.
No
yeah,
way.
John. What's his
Yeah.
face? He's gay.
Yeah.
It was like
Mahoney.
an Irish name, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
Oh,
John
Mahoney.
Elizabeth Fraser.
John Perry Barlow died,
Right.
Yeah.
FF.
and John Anthony West died.
Yep.
Mm.
Oh, John
And
Anthony
they
died.
all have 3 names.
That's the new insurance policy for rich
Except for
people. When you die, if you bought a Tesla and you die, you get launched into space with your own Tesla.
John Mahoney died. I just saw a movie with him too. Oh, the Hudson.
Well, that would be the coffin in the.
No, he's the editor of the magazine of the newspaper in the Hudsucker Proxy. That movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I just saw that.
So, what other things besides the 3 names and the John do
Oh.
they have in common? Have
Well,
you
John
figured that out?
is another Bowie song. So, kind of an interesting kind of.
I have a question for you. Were there any astrological things around or during the SpaceX flight of note?
Oh yeah. Well, that was when that was on the 4th or the 5th that it launched.
I don't know.
Because there was a lunar eclipse that day.
No, that was the 31st.
On the 4th.
No.
Oh, no. Oh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. It was the asteroid that came in, AG219.
Okay, it launched on the 6th.
Yeah.
6th. Oh, okay.
What day?
No.
What day did the Roadster launch? What day was that?
The 6th. 2/6/2018.
Let's check it out.
Yeah. I figured you did this already.
No.
We're getting a scoop.
Sometimes I'm lax on these things, you know.
I need
Well,
Robert to.
when is it supposed to get to Mars? That's the question.
3
So
months.
it's 3 months. So
Yeah.
any idea what day it would actually arrive there?
February, March, April, May 5th, May 6th.
See,
The moon
now-
moved into Scorpio that day.
see, May 5 is a really big day.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. The moon moved into Scorpio. That's interesting.
March 16th.
February 6th.
And Mars was the original ruler of Scorpio. So I don't know if that means anything for.
My moon's in Scorpio. My moon's in Scorpio.
But yeah. Other than that, nothing too exciting.
So it's not magic.
I don't think so.
Does Elon Musk really liked Elton John or John Wayne or whatever John you're talking about?
John Mahoney.
David Bowie?
Yeah, man. I don't think so.
John
I don't
Wayne.
think Elon talks about Bowie or has talked about Bowie. too
Elton
much.
Wayne.
Elton Wayne.
Elton Wayne. That's a
I've never heard
I think Elton
Elon
Wayne
talk about Bowie.
was the name of Murphy Brown's paint guy, right?
Well, what was the
That sounds
point of-
right.
What's the point of him playing Space Odyssey? I mean, none
It
of us can
wasn't
hear or
Space
tell if it's
Odyssey.
or what is it that he's
It was
playing?
Life on Mars.
It was
It's called Life on
yeah,
Mars.
and it was only during.
That's what the
launch.
car is playing.
No, it was during the launch.
That was the David Bowie song, which
Yeah, it was when,
it was from like 1968, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right when they were doing the opening the fairing, exposing.
You're sending.
Oh, I thought he said that they were going to play Space Odyssey on repeat or something.
No, they're playing Life on Mars.
No, they played Life on Mars, and
You're
he,
sending-
I'm pretty sure he recorded that in 1968. And the recording studio has similar name.
I'm playing it
Wow,
on the
the
live
Earth has
stream.
no land on it. It's nothing but water.
I know. That's bothersome.
And clouds.
You know what that means, then, don't you? There's more land.
Or that's not Earth.
Oh boy.
One of the two.
I bet it's a painting.
They've terraformed Mars already. So the song that you guys are hearing,
Maybe it's Pluto.
is what was played or being played, which has some interesting lyrics, by the way.
Life on Mars
Maybe
came
just-
out in 1971.
71. Okay.
Yeah.
The line in here that I thought was interesting was, it's the chorus, really. Where is it? Oh,
Oh my God, Jer.
It's the freakiest show. Take a look at the lawman beating up the wrong guy. Oh man, wonder if he'll ever know he's in the best-selling show.
Right, in the best show.
Yeah. The lawman. Yeah.
So, okay, this ties into Max.
Spears?
The rise and fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. That was his band in '72 when they released the song Starman.
That was a performance art band. It was a character.
Okay, but the Spiders from Mars.
Yeah. Patty Bob.
And what was Max just talking about?
Max.
No, I'm not saying it's true.
Max who?
I'm just from the project thing. Not Max. Sorry.
Okay, I got it.
What's his face?
They sent John
Miles.
Wayne to space.
Yes.
Miles. Yes. He
was talking about the spider
Robert knows
thing.
about these things. Those fourth dimensional entities that suck off people's auras and stuff.
I think Steve Cremmy has a better understanding of those than I do.
No, but you've heard about them. I mean.
Of course, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are the things. There was another guy, Miles Johnston. I don't know if you follow him at all.
Yeah, he's the bases guy, right?
Right, yeah. He's putting out a lot of warning. Yeah, Scutler's rightly about these things, and they're becoming more prevalent, apparently, or visible. I'm not sure.
So
that makes sense.
So it was just weird how it was the
spiders have come up a lot, and then
Spiders from Mars. Yes, it's coming up a lot.
we collate things over a wide swath of media.
Yes,
and time, I should say.
And time.
Oh,
and Elon said, behind the wheel is Starman, a mannequin dressed in a spacesuit. SpaceX also hid a few Easter eggs in the car.
Yeah, heck.
Okay, Elon didn't say that, but Easter eggs, what is that?
Easter eggs.
We know what Easter eggs are.
It's a geek term that means a hidden surprise.
Yeah, there's. So I do know that some of the boards, some of the circuit cards in the car, are labeled as made on Earth by humans.
I saw that.
Well, they also put like some kind of holographic crystal stored with movies or books. I don't remember.
Oh, the
it had the 3 books of the Foundation's Edge.
Of
the Foundation's Earth and Earth.
Yeah. The Asimov trilogy.
Yeah, the Asimov, where the world is called Gaia.
So after these poor fuckers finally break the encryption to get that data off that holocrystal, then they have to learn fucking English to read these books.
Exactly. And these books are all science fiction.
Right. They're like, what's with these children's tales?
It says here that Musk wrote on Twitter that the Roadster, the payload will be my midnight cherry Tesla Roadster playing Space Odyssey. He wrote that on Twitter.
Oh, he got the song wrong, dumbass.
Well,
not you, but him.
Yeah, I'm just reading it off.
We don't know what.
No, I know. I'm not saying you.
No, I know. We don't know what's on the car, though. We just heard what was coming from.
What they played on the video.
Yeah.
Is there even a car?
It's not the point. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that people got that in their mind. It's happening. It's the spell of it. That's the marketing magic.
Yeah. Right.
Kitty.
Yeah, on this page that Ryan just linked, showing all the Easter eggs, it says right here that he played Space Odyssey also.
Maybe it was on the same playlist.
What if it's Mandela on a really short fuse?
No, I think it's just a dumbass who can't remember what his lines were.
Mandela on a short fuse. I don't get that.
No, I mean,
normally
it takes.
It happened really fast. The Mandela effect.
Oh, weird.
What if it was a multi-billionaire flaunting his money and sending one of his key pieces of technology into space via the rockets he builds?
What if it's really Elon Musk that's in the car, and the thing that people think is Elon Musk is actually like a sex bot with. I've
said for like 6 months he's a bot. I don't
What
even
if-
believe he's
I think
real.
he's a CGI
What if
character.
Elon Musk has
Yeah.
made a deal with the reptilians that they'll allow us to land on the moon
Possibly.
again?
The Greys put the kibosh to
We
that
give
deal.
them. Wait, I'm not even done. As long as we give them one of the Teslas.
Because they don't have
I
the
think it'd be a fair trade.
You
Well,
just
there's
want
such-
one Tesla
it's such
between
high
all of them.
technology that they can-
Yeah, they don't know. They don't know any better. They're like, that's the hottest thing we've ever seen.
and they're going to
Sure, you
sell
can
it to
land
the
on the moon again.
Greys
In fact, we'll give you one of our bases.
because they can learn how to reproduce.
The Greys
from
can
it.
back engineer it.
Right. They get the spooks from Lockheed Martin. Elon Musk is dating Johnny Depp's ex. Really?
The reptilians are gonna reverse engineer the Tesla.
Yes.
That's right.
Elon Musk is
No,
dating
the
Johnny
Greys
Depp's
are.
ex.
That's funny.
He's
Elon
been
Musk
dating
is
her.
Marlon Brando.
Johnny Depp was
Brando's
married.
dead.
Yeah.
That means that Musk is a genuine freak show.
Well, yeah.
I'm
He's
telling
dating
you,
Johnny.
he
I wouldn't
is.
doubt that. Anyway,
He probably won that in the settlement.
Hmm.
well, here's the thing about the SpaceX. If it's
Who gets
real,
custody of
if
Mars?
it's real, the stuff they tell us about space and the Earth aren't right, aren't accurate.
How could we even believe that it is? Look at our history books. Columbus discovered America. Seriously?
Well, no, that's history books from this time.
No.
Wait 100 years from now, see what they say about
This
this.
time,
But that was the propaganda long ago. It's just worn out. Like we figured
In
it out by
100
now.
years, kids are going to get a second grade education, and that's it.
I don't know.
That-
It's hard to
well,
say.
okay, 100 years ago,
Maybe. We don't
kids
know.
knew like like college stuff. If you go back and look at what kids were learning 100
Oh,
years
for
ago,
sure. They were way smarter.
they were
than most
learning like
kids now.
what our kids are going to learn in college, or what you guys learned in
Absolutely
college.
true.
Yeah.
That's right.
And so that's what I'm saying. In 100 years from now,
Yeah.
ahead, they're going to get like a second grade education.
Most
No,
people.
it'll-
I mean, if it keeps going like this, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they don't need to know anything other than to say, "Do you want fries with that?"
What's that?
No. The robots will take care of that, man. That's
Oh, right.
Yeah,
that gig's up.
man.
I mean, they're already making pizzas and hamburgers.
Yeah.
My kids are
Yeah.
so fucked.
Speaking of which, I have a couple of Arduinos laying around here. I wonder if I could make a pizza bot.
I got an Arduino already.
Hmm.
And
Can you
a Pi.
3D print?
No,
I picked up one of those
Terry,
Pine
the cock ring.
64s. That's right. Where did it go?
I don't know. You're going to put something together with it.
It holds stuff
That guy.
together.
Can you 3D print food yet? Like,
Yeah.
is there?
Oh, yeah.
You could totally do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, you can totally do that. Let me see. Hang on a second. I've got a.
You should Google.
Right.
There's a
Hey,
burger machine.
what
There's
about
a burger machine that
This
prints burgers?
stuff now they're talking about 3D printing drugs. Would you?
What?
Yeah, they're talking about 3D printing pills. So would you take a pill that was 3D
Sure.
printed?
Yeah, why
I
not?
don't take pills.
They're already making them in dyes. I mean,
Yeah.
they're already making die cast pills.
But it's different.
But how?
Because the filament is going to be okay. When you're doing die cast pills, it's just pressed into the mold. There's nothing other than pressure with the
How is
printing.
it substantively different?
Because the material that they're using as filament might not be the same as what's pressed into the mold. It's heated, it's pressurized,
No.
it's different. I don't know. I
Technically-
At some
don't.
point, you have to have the material that is the medication.
Technically, any food that comes out of a factory is 3D printed because it's not there, and then all the machines make it.
Yeah, when Mrs. that guy was asking me about why I want a 3D printer, I had to explain to her, honey, you've been 3D printing for years, making stuff out of filament. She knits, right? So you've been
Sure.
3D printing sweaters and hats and
I guess my interpretation of 3D printing of
Those
pills
don't cost tens of thousands.
is that they would have
of dollars.
multiple
well, this
filaments
one
of
didn't either.
different chemicals that
Just
they
the
would
way
then,
she's looking at it.
that they would then weave together into this pill final recipe. Like it was a digital construction. That's the impression I got from it. It wasn't, like I can't
But
remember.
100 years ago, pharmaceuticals are primarily produced and made from the chemicals.
Yeah,
So
well, yeah.
so
But
100
before
years
that, they
ago,
were using natural
you had to
products.
talk everybody. Yeah, but 100 years ago, they had to talk everybody into. So wait, you're going to make these instead of taking the herbs that I know work for me. You want me to start taking this petrochemical pill?
Well, yeah.
Like it didn't make any sense. So you had to talk everybody into it, and now people
Rockefeller
have
had to
no
get rid of
clue
that
about any
petroleum.
of that.
But Rockefeller had to get rid of all that extra petroleum waste from his gasoline. Come on.
Well, contrary to popular belief, most of the pharmaceuticals, Jesus, have another whiskey. Most of the pharmaceuticals actually come from things that they harvest out of rainforests and plants.
They come from natural. They're
Yeah.
They all have natural analog.
Yeah,
like
they find
aspirin is a
the
bark
original
of a
thing
tree.
in a plant someplace, and then they synthesize it in the lab.
And
Right, but I guess my point
So it's
was
not
back then
from-
you were trying
they
to
patent
talk
it and they
everybody
own
into
it.
changing.
Yeah, petroleum's a bunch of hydrocarbons, and that's mostly not what.
So I'm looking into this 3D printing pharmaceutical thing, and there's a couple of interesting things here. One is kind of, I think, what you were saying, where you've got some ingredient tubes, and so you print your own mix and cocktail and exact dosages for exactly.
Okay, so I'm pasting a link into the Slack. This is a 3D printable paste extruder.
Slack? Where in Slack?
Wait a minute. So like
It was in Discord, not Slack.
one
that's
day,
what I-
Protein amylase.
Thank you.
one day I could make opium, and then the next day, I could make,
Wait, that's a
heroin.
protein. As an amylase a protein?
What?
Is amylase a protein or an enzyme? Or something
I
else?
think it's an enzyme.
Yeah, I think it's an enzyme.
Well, yeah, use.
Thanks. Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Yeah,
I
man.
can't. These things are going
That's
so
a
fast.
secondary way. It's basically like an organic chemistry.
Yeah,
Fact.
that's right. That's what I was talking about that I had read, and it's just kind of creepy. Creeps me out.
Oh, you could have some fun with that.
Print your own nootropics.
There you go.
I mean, this is the next step in the evolution of making a.
It's infancy of replicator technology.
Replicator technology, exactly.
Yeah.
This is the final step before you say computer, apple pie.
Yep.
Oh, I can't wait.
Free energy
Yeah,
and
some-
replicators, and we're
Don't the
off.
Jetsons have one of those?
Do 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 do.
The Jets.
If you
Why do they
listen,
get all those sprockets? Why wouldn't it be like a microchip factory that George Jetson worked at? Why does he work at a sprocket factory? All this high technology.
because Spacely sprockets.
They had to dumb it down for us.
Yeah, right? Shit.
I mean, he was going to question him
And
working
we
at a sprocket factory back
Right.
then.
Because my name's Spacely, bitches.
And then their freaking robot Marge or whatever, their maid, she always had sprockets that were springing out. Remember that? She was always losing a sprocket.
Rosie.
No.
Or a spring or
It
whatever.
was Rosie.
Yeah, Rosie.
It was like Coswell Cogs.
You know, I heard Rosie.
That was the competitor.
Dogs.
Yeah, Cogswell. I heard Rosie had 5 sisters.
Yeah, she came from Gazorpazorp.
Zarp.
Robert, have you ever seen Rick and Morty?
Absolutely.
Oh, so you're familiar with Gazorpazorp.
I am so jonesing for season 4.
Are they going to do it?
I have no idea.
Do it.
I hope so.
There's no way they couldn't. There'd be a revolt.
What
You
if
saw what happened with Szechuan sauce.
It'd be torches and pitchforks outside their mansion.
It would be.
They were the ones that started that stupid Szechuan sauce McDonald's thing.
Yet
Yeah.
nobody still cares about the spy ring in Congress? The rioting
I know.
over Szechuan sauce.
Yeah.
But we're selling uranium to Russia. Nobody cares.
Oh, let's get political.
Let's get political.
Oh, yeah.
What's going
Get
new?
political.
What's going on?
The last black budget, I couldn't even listen
This
to.
is
it. Triggers.
politics now. Politics now. This is why that guy drinks.
Amen.
Come on, we're getting the shit out of the way, the
Basically,
heavy
there's-
stuff.
There's a civil war
Out of the
brewing
way.
between the Republicans and Democrats. The Republicans, well, what's really going on is that the Inspector General is going to put out a report very soon that's going to name key people as criminal, possibly treasonous or more.
What?
So treason is a word that keeps coming up, but by the definition that our Constitution calls treason,
Seditious. How's that?
it's not even seditious.
No, that's different.
It's not even
Seditious is
seditious
from
conspiracy.
outside. It's foreign.
Well, if you allow government secrets to fall into the hands of a foreign entity, that is treason.
No, that's not correct.
According to the law that
Not
I read,
according
it
to
is.
Our Constitution very explicitly describes it. There's a clause in the Constitution that very explicitly describes treason.
The reason for treason.
as providing aid and comfort to an enemy in time of war. And we're
That's
not at
all
war
it
with
is?
the Russians.
That
But
sounds right.
but-
We're at
but-
war. How many
but-
places are we at war with? Really?
None.
Nobody.
we're not in
Oh,
enemy
okay. We're in
right now.
conflict.
In 178 countries, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, there you
We're
go.
not-
In a
we're not
conflict.
declared war with anybody right
Let's see.
Okay. Well, okay. I didn't really mean.
That's how you
I meant
go
a
around it.
conflict.
But they probably could make treason charges out of, they could make a case for it anyway, out of providing arms and material support to the Taliban and to ISIS.
Yes, for sure.
That might, but any of the bullshit with Russia, no. Any of the bullshit with actually with North Korea as well. Uranium One, if uranium went to North Korea and we knew it.
Okay, well, I was speaking specifically about the Peter Strokes and Lisa Page text where they're, identifying different people like POTUS and Andy,
Right.
Who are keeping tabs on this thing, and they're definitely planning to sabotage Trump in some way. I mean, it's pretty obvious. So that's what's being said as treasonous.
Yeah, that's not treason.
All right, what is it?
It's
treason
it's
in
a
our
Fourth
minds,
Amendment
but not for
violation
the law.
at the very least. But there's no criminal penalty for Fourth Amendment violation. It's a civil thing. There is a portion of the FISA Act that makes a criminal penalty of, I think it's 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine for knowingly subverting the process for the process of obtaining a warrant and conducting surveillance against somebody that you that's not part of the normal declared duties of an office.
Okay.
So if you're spying on your ex-wife or say the opposing political candidate, it would fall under that.
So according to those texts, it looks like they were looking to try and get him impeached or have him taken out. And that falls in line with seditious conspiracy. So 2 or more persons in any state or territory or in any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to oppose by force the authority thereof. That's why I said it. Or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property on the United States. Well, that's the whole government. Contrary to the authority, they shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. So there's no hanging, but
yeah,
that's what they've
No,
done.
yeah, you're right. That would qualify as seditious conspiracy, I think.
Wait, so you guys are saying that politicians are liars and
By
crooked?
trade.
Well, but
By
yes,
trade.
but
By
now they've
trade?
got, they've left a trail, so we caught them.
So
See,
these guys aren't
that's-
politicians, though. These are agents of a law
These are
enforcement
government
agency.
workers. Yeah.
Yeah, the
they're government
CIA.
workers, and government workers they all
FBI.
think they're above the law. So
I always thought sedition was from outside the government. It was a foreign government. No,
I just
I
read
guess
just
I had that
sedition.
wrong.
I read seditious conspiracy. It's not
Yeah,
quite
so there's no
sedition.
specific thing called sedition as such beyond the dictionary definition of it. But
Just the
seditious
Sedition
conspiracy
Act.
is specifically called out in the United States Code.
Okay.
Yes, I think he was a LARP too. Did you see Julian Assange tweeted today? He said, it was like, ask me anything, I might answer, or I will answer anything. I haven't checked yet, but I asked him, is Q legit?
I want to know where the cat gets the ties.
Here you go. I'm hearing more and more chatter about Snowden being, fake news.
I've thought that for a
Well,
long
me
time.
too. I know you have. We both have. But now I'm hearing people say, "Oh, he's a black hat. He's like, out there disinfo agent."
People have been talking about Snowden being a black hat for a long time, but there's an awful lot of actual content that came out as a result of whatever that was, whether it was a LARP or
and 0% of it has stopped.
But it all had started way before he even said anything. George Bush told us himself.
Yeah. It hasn't stopped because the government hasn't officially acknowledged.
No, it hasn't stopped.
That's like the Vault 7 stuff too. All that shit
But
came
I'm
out.
just saying, it came out way before. Like everything he said was shit we heard coming out of George Bush's mouth.
Echelon's been around.
If you knew about Danny Casolaro and Promise and the Octopus, I mean, you knew about this stuff in the 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that was no revelation.
And he didn't put out anything new, but he did alert a good chunk of the public to what was happening, and that caused no outrage.
Who don't pay attention.
That's kind of what, right? But
I think he's a limited hang. I mean, I'm not
limited hangout, totally. But it's black hat, same thing. He's still employed. He still gets a paycheck from wherever.
I mean, if you look at everything that had to take place in order for him to do what he did, it would be almost a miracle, because when he was jacking in those USBs, you don't think that those computers at the NSA had sensors and they knew what was going on? I mean, come on.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've never thought he could get away with that kind of shit. It's like Falcon and the Rainbow kind of stuff.
Guys, he had a Rubik's
Snowman, Rainbow.
He had a Rubik's Cube. That's how he made it happen.
That he could solve in 3 seconds and he gets all the data.
He's just a
Wikipedia says the Sedition Act was repealed in 1920.
What? Wikipedia is a limited hanger.
And they want to put the Wikipedia out in space. That's the next thing that guy with the hologram thing, supposedly, that those 3 books were on in Tesla's
part
car.
of the espionage. It was extended into the Espionage Act.
Snopes out in space.
Okay.
They want to put Wikipedia.
But it says the law was repealed on December 13, 1920.
That's what we could do. Start a Snopes in Space webpage.
Get the URL, Jer.
I think Earth is a limited hangout.
Why are there no land masses on the planet?
There was masses. We saw some earlier.
One. I've seen one.
Yeah, but that's.
But the world is like half covered with land.
It could be Australia.
More ocean than land.
Lunar Sparkles is
and
here.
You're not seeing the whole Earth. You're only seeing a little portion of it. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, you can't see the whole.
It's okay. It's okay, snowflakes. You'll be all right.
Not a fucking snowflake.
My special set of snowflakes.
The retarded space. I don't think that's out of the possibility.
I'm pretty convinced that Earth is shaped like Jerry's cock ring.
It could possibly be. That makes the most sense to me.
We're gonna lose Suze.
It's a Taurus field.
It is a toroid. My cock ring is a toroid. Wish I could get.
Oh, James Cruz finally showed up.
Oh, it's about.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's it. I'm out of here.
That was a good show. Thanks,
Zach,
Thanks chatting with you.
Thanks, everybody.
We'll catch you guys later.
Ryan,
Who's leaving?
I love you. Bye.
Bye, Ryan. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. We love you.
Fuck. What the fuck?
Dude, you got a blue screen.
And we have company. Be nice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm sorry.
Be on your best behavior. Your dad's gonna come over there and give you the belt.
I give you the back of my hand.
Or his cock
ring.
I couldn't get it in the picture. Give me the back of my cock ring. I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it to use as a cock ring.
That's what they all say.
It's too small.
Honey, it's for the articles. I buy it.
I just love the story.
Oh my god.
All right, enough cock ring stuff.
Oh, there's never enough.
Oh, it's like cowbell.
Can never have enough cowbell. So
I've got a fever.
Grim was asking about QAnon, and I haven't seen anything So the QAnon stuff, the posts he made lately kind of painted a narrative of Loretta Lynch getting promised a Supreme Court seat after Scalia was gone.
Wow.
And that was apparently what was discussed on the tarmac with Bill Clinton. That's kind of one of the subplots that's been laid out by
Interesting.
the decoders. I don't know if that's true. It's the whole Scalia thing, if you remember that.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was at some hunting club or something, and
Yes.
died in his sleep, was found with a pillow over his head, and there was no
Secret
autopsy.
Society hunting club.
Yeah, and they cremated his body immediately.
Right away.
Yeah.
And his family did not ask for an autopsy.
Like all the people
Allegedly.
in Vegas.
Right.
Well, those actually are
Same
under
thing.
subpoena now to be released.
Yeah,
because-
it just happened in like today or yesterday,
Yep.
I think.
And also the police are being sued to release their body cam footage.
Yeah, and that too,
For what,
yes.
Good.
For Scalia?
For Vegas.
Oh, Vegas.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's right. I heard that.
Sorry, we skipped there to Vegas real quick.
Yeah, we
No,
jump
Defoe,
around.
what's up?
I was just processing Scalia. So.
yeah, the Scalia thing. Going back to Scalia.
What's up,
it's just
bitch?
the,
Well, I heard he got his throat cut from ear to ear, right?
I did not.
I heard that too.
Well, I thought he was just suffocated with the. Well, that was only the.
You know, he had a pillow over his face.
Well, especially once they cremate the body. He wasn't he Catholic?
He was into some weird
Yes, he
shit.
was.
He was into some weird stuff.
Yes, I can see.
He was
the
very
chat.
Catholic.
He was like Opus Dei on steroids.
Right,
Yeah.
So he would never get cremated or agree to be cremated.
No,
Nope.
that was not part of the faith.
He
No.
agreed
Not
to
at
be shot into space in a Tesla.
Maybe that's who that is.
There's somebody in that
crap.
thing,
There's somebody in the trunk.
dude. Yeah.
I saw he waved at me.
Hookers in the trunk?
It's Seth Rich.
That it's Seth in the trunk.
Jesus.
Seth Rich. Seth Rich is on kibbutz in Israel.
Dude, I'm not even sure he's a real person. Look at what a
the whole
distraction
stuff
it's been.
is so bizarre, man. And then the dog and pony show with Jason Goodman and George, what's his name?
Webb.
Oh,
That thing was just.
I like Jason. He's okay.
yeah. I just took notes today to talk about.
So did you hear that thing though? That Jason Goodman was on Harvey Weinstein's payroll? Do you know that?
Whoa.
I
What?
heard that and I haven't seen any proof. I've heard a
Well,
lot-
he used to work in the entertainment industry.
Yeah, he's a 3D animator.
Bye, that guy. Have a good night.
Good night.
That guy.
Bye, that
Oh,
guy.
See you later,
Peace out,
buddy.
everybody.
See you around.
Night.
See you next
I'm
time.
bailing because James is here now. Because
Hey,
Sorry.
dude, this is, you know how many times this has happened?
Come on,
Oh my God.
Graham, play
You
it.
guys' egos are just too big.
What am I playing?
Ether.
What do
yeah,
you
it's the
need?
egos. Thanks, Suze.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You know I'm kidding.
Alrighty. See you guys.
Later.
All
right.
right. Good night.
It's the ether.
It's the ether.
A lot of stuff's been said about Jason that's not true. He was a 3D animator. He did work on a film with Brian
Amazing
Singer
Spider-Man.
and one of the X-Men film, but he did it as a contractor. You know, he never left his office. Anyway, I haven't seen any
You
proof.
just told me he did the whole Jew thing.
No,
Through the juice.
no, that was a joke. If you remember,
I know it was a joke.
So how does he get paid? How does Jason Goodman get paid
Support,
Like,
I guess.
wait, for what he's doing now?
for what he's been doing for the last?
The
I mean,
crowds-
besides the crowdfunding stuff with George Webb, how does he get paid?
well, he and George are not affiliated. First off,
Yeah, they're not.
Jason's
Okay,
got his
how
own.
does Jason Goodman get paid?
He runs that crowdsource the truth organization, so it's by donations from people. Or
Okay.
they're not called donations; they're called gifts because they're not tax deductible.
So I've heard that there was a turf war between Jason Goodman and Laura Loomer,
That
and
might
that they
be
were
true.
both working for Weinstein, and Weinstein was paying her more money.
To understanding your humanness.
Thank you, James. I haven't
didn't
heard
take
that. But what
I'm
would
firing up my stuff now, but
what
not
would
As having sex?
stop it? What would be the point of that?
Point of what?
Just of paying them just to not talk about him?
No. I think they're both on Weinstein's payroll, and Weinstein was using Laura Loomer to run interference at some point for like his past discretions. And I think Jason Goodman might have been in that camp. These are just just murmurings I've heard. It's like Laura Loomer. How did she get paid? Like what payroll is she on?
Right, and according to them, none.
Yeah, right.
I don't know about Laura Loomer. I'm 50-50 about her. She's the one who came up with that first Stephen Paddock.
She got into Vegas real fast, right? All of a sudden, she's everywhere. She becomes like the de facto sort of on the street expert about Vegas.
Yep. And she's the first one who published that crime scene photo on Twitter.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you got to wonder about that.
It's all a distraction.
It is all a distraction, Nomad.
Does everybody here vape? Maybe I should take up vaping.
You should.
Do you smoke?
If you
I've
smoke.
never vaped.
No, in fact, I was in the hospital last year. They found a nodule on my lung. So any even recreational smoking is like out the door for me.
Oh man.
You can get the new
about that.
shot, the new cancer shot. You
Vaping
see
won't
that?
hurt that. No,
It's all benign. It's all good.
That's
But
good. That's good. That's
we
real
only
good.
vape because we're ex-smokers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Were you a
And
smoker,
vaping-
Robert?
I'd vape. I smoked that vape. Looks like fun.
It is.
Were you ever a smoker, Robert?
Just kind of recreationally.
Oh, okay.
When you
For a
drink?
few years.
Yeah.
And then, but nothing. I mean, I could stop anytime I wanted to.
That's
Yeah.
what they all say.
It wasn't every day. Like,
It was easy. I had no problem stopping smoking.
I agree.
You just gotta want to.
Lee's
I've got
talking
an
about
addictive gene, but not for cigarettes or tobacco.
cocaine, like me.
Yeah, dude, it's a good thing I was poor when I discovered cocaine.
Me too. My friend said to me, "Dude, the way you look right now makes me never want to do a line of coke." I think that was the last time I ever did it. Like 30 years ago.
Although the cedar fever here in Texas has been so bad, I've been thinking about actually taking up cocaine as some kind of pharmaceutical antidote for my swollen sinuses.
Oh, that would work. It would open them right up.
oh, yeah.
Oh, I've done it in the past, and it clearly does. And that's
Clear you right up.
Yeah. So, I know that George and Jason aren't like close working together, but they do cross paths occasionally. And Jason seems to have shied away from Laura since they were together in Vegas. So
What just happened though? Weren't they at the coroner's office together?
they met there, yeah, but they don't work together.
No, I wasn't saying they were working together.
No, I'm sure. I think
The
maybe
first independence on scene.
it's possible that they were running interference before he got busted, but ever since they really haven't. Unless their interference was not talking about it, I can agree with that because they haven't really brought it up as an issue or investigated it. It hasn't been a target of any of their shows. Not that she has shows.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Jason do a deep dive on Harvey Weinstein and his victim, but he sure has done a lot on the Clinton Foundation.
What makes
that's
you
like piling on.
question?
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Well, that's what I got today from him. I got a whole kind of like a cue rundown of a couple things that link Adam Schiff and Marina Abramovich.
Yes.
There's like this whole
With-
triangle going on that's
And the
linked to
Standard
Clinton.
Hotel. Did you read
The
about
Standard
that?
Hotel
Yep.
stuff, yeah. Which is like this like crazy party scene, tripped out freaking hotel right on the ocean
In L.A.
yeah.
And they got in trouble for dumping muriatic acid into the city drains, like tons
Oh
of
yeah,
it,
they got these like 55-gallon drums of that shit.
which
Yeah.
apparently can be used to melt human tissue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you mix it like with your supply in your pool, which kills like dead skin cells and shit like that.
Yeah.
But this stuff, you could dump any type of parts into this stuff, and it'll eat it all away.
Like babies, half-eaten
Pretty
babies.
volatile stuff. Yeah.
Isn't that a chemical that you have to put in pools too?
Right. That's what
That's
it's,
what they said it was for.
yeah.
But they were dumping it in the drain.
But they had 55,000 or 55 gallon.
Yeah, they
drums
had
of it.
like 3 like giant like drums of that stuff.
But they got in trouble
But they
for
do
not.
have a lot of people that come through that
Yeah.
pool. It's like a big party, like not teen, but
There's tons of piss in it, I'm
20-year-olds. Like,
among other things.
well, dude, it's crazy looking place, man. They got like
Dude,
they were talking like there's like this secret room that you go through in the back, like through the bathroom, and then you go down this. It's called Down the Rabbit Hole, and it's like a whole Alice in Wonderland type, like crazy themed basement type thing, and they have like these weird parties, like that. Like those. Well, Abramovich had hosted some stuff there in the past too.
They have a crazy website too.
Yeah, it's an interesting place, man. But there's a lot of weird links to Adam Schiff because the guy who owns it is the link to all of like
right, which brought up all those because this is the weird stuff. Was that a couple days ago there was a helicopter crash with the manager and 2 other employees of the hotel, which are somehow related to.
They're all GMs. There are 2 GMs. One of that one of the one of, I think there's another one on the East Coast somewhere, and then a third person. I didn't get the name of that person. Plus the pilot. All 4 of them died.
Right, and this came out right after the Schiff stuff. After the tide turned on Schiff, I would say. Then the helicopter. It was during also the 2 Amtrak issues that came up last week, and the helicopter. Yeah, it was like all this. What the hell's going on?
Synchro City, dude, going on. Yeah.
Instant karma.
Synchro, you mean Distraction City?
Like instant karma.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, a helicopter crash with some high up people. Yeah, which is kind of weird. I guess they're all going to that Catalina Island and
not to the fucking Catalina Wine Fest.
There's a lot of
whatever it is, but
what's the source
Robert?
for the drums of acid?
But by the way, muriatic acid is also used in the production of methamphetamine.
Right, and meth too, right?
Well, that's another link to this whole story.
And what's the source of that information?
I think it's on mainstream stuff. Yeah.
So does that mean there's an investigation going on?
It was.
That's what Q.
It was in 2013. This happened.
But then Q posted like about a link from a phone call that is supposed to be basically
Adam
indictable.
Schiff.
Like, well, what do they call it? That treasonous? Against it's like a 42-minute call to a Russian dude or something.
No, I thought it was between him and Pelosi.
Or it was some AJ or something.
Yeah, a Russian dude.
Oh, right. Valerie Jarrett. It was Valerie Jarrett.
Valerie Jarrett.
But see, here's the thing: Q's been using AS for Schiff, Adam Schiff, and he's also been using AS for Anton and Scalia.
Oh yeah.
And Scalia and Jarrett sounds more likely than Schiff and Jarrett, but Schiff and Jarrett could be discussing strategy going forward,
Yeah, there's a big cleanup fest going on, dude.
That's my take.
Yeah, it's some interesting stuff that. Well, with the things of acid, it might be just a coincidence. I mean, they do have giant pool parties there all the time. I mean, they might go through a lot of that shit, but like there is some links to like there's a third party involved in this little triangle of people. This Ed Buck, he's like this like a
hooker killer.
Yeah, and he's a out gay man for the last 20 years or whatever.
He came out when it wasn't cool.
He linked to this meth shit, and they had and he had this guy die at his house. This black, maybe 20-year-old male,
19, yeah.
That they would get off. He would get these people all fucked up on meth and have his way with them.
Right, but he liked to see how they reacted on drugs.
Yeah.
And
so that's where the weird bats of acid come into play, and like
he could have been trying out new batches of meth on the hooker kid
because he's all linked to this place too. It's all, and then the Clinton Foundation, like there's pictures of him right next to the
right. Ed Buck's really good friends with Hillary, and all of this is going on in Adam Schiff's district, which is like West Hollywood,
that could be coincidental.
West Hollywood and LA area.
They're trying to link it with the Clintons, but I'm sure as part of it, it's all a big giant mess.
And Lee is bringing up really good points that I keep forgetting to make about all this. I gotta go back here and read this. That God damn it, Lee, where was it? Oh yeah, Rose McGowan. Not that one. Oh yeah, the stock market went down a lot because of all this nonsense.
And
it dropped 666 the other day.
Right.
It was last Friday, right?
I thought
last Friday, right?
Suspicious.
The only thing I thought about the stock market is all like the automatic algorithm trades that it's so fast and so volatile because of the automatic stuff.
Right.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's not volatile.
It's crazy. They're working like
Or
5,
whatever you
6
call
different.
opposite of volatile. It's not good to be in the stock market right now.
No, they're the automatic stuff's crazy because they're like on the one hand they're buying, the other hand they're selling, the other hand they're shorting.
Yeah,
it's
they're
all
saying
happening.
it's too fast to handle now. Like you can't like.
Well, humans
And
can't
then you have
do
these
it.
AIs like
Yeah, humans can't do it. You're so true, dude.
Yeah, AI definitely. It's AI driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's what it's about like 55% of the market or something like that.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah. Yeah, and
Well,
not
it's
to
all
mention
like E-Trade, you know, all those big companies like that everybody at home thinks they're traders, you know, and it's just like that stuff's all set up for they have
totally
automatic cells on them, you know. It's like
here's one more interesting thing about that though is that
it's about 5 or 6 different like platforms and variables. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing, you know.
the thing about the trading though, when you're trading at home, you're still going through an actual person who's standing on the trading, because
that's true.
All human trades have to go through that. Plus, you're also working on a 20-minute delay because that's built into non-market participant traders.
Okay, that makes sense.
You're losing the whatever time the program trading stuff's running in, right? Because you've got to deal through at least a website to put your order in, then a human's got to fill it. You know, look at the disadvantage you're put at to get into the stock market versus, say, this AI. There's no way to win.
And they installed like the way they communicate between Wall Street is all like laser now. Did you follow all that, Jerry, a few years ago when they installed all those?
No.
Yeah, they installed them a few years ago.
Fiber optic. It's laser now. Yeah,
well, it's now laser. It's point-to-point laser that these had to be placed so that they could. I think they were trying to communicate with the Chicago Mercantile. Was what
it's like time travel.
It's and then when it's pennies, when it's fractions of a penny, but you're making that faster than anyone else. That's the whole point.
It's like Office Space.
What are you talking about?
Dude, cutting the pennies off. Yeah,
it's totally. Just a penny. It's like a fraction of a penny.
Hey, have you
the AI controls the whole thing, then wouldn't it just stop?
It's all Tyler.
No, it's fine. What, Robert? Have
you seen the Adam Schiff, Andy Kaufman stuff?
No.
Oh, I heard about that. I did hear about it. We need a rundown on that. I did hear about it.
Yeah, I've just been picking up on it. So there's this rumor that Adam Schiff is actually Andy Kaufman, and so they do the.
It's so good too. I did hear like a little story on it. Oh, it was on Magical Mystery Radio. I think they were talking about it.
What's the basis for this rumor?
Oh, that it's the ultimate Andy Kaufman role, right?
Yeah, it's just a take on it being like super close to what Kaufman was doing.
Look at the link in the chat.
Yeah, it's just the eyes.
Oh.
Oh, that's good.
I found
February of 2014 was when they installed the lasers.
Interesting.
Laser trading.
That'll help if like more buildings get bombed in New York, maybe.
Yeah.
Keep them up. I did hear that Ben Kingsley's used to play Muammar Gaddafi as a performance art project.
Oh yeah, I heard that too.
It was like an email that came out of the Clinton emails.
Crazy. What the hell's going on here?
What?
I'll try and find it again.
What about Sean Connery as the Ayatollah? Have you seen those pictures?
No.
Look at Sean Connery, the Ayatollah.
Nice quote, money.
It's pretty interesting correspondence.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, they look exactly the same.
Oh, I am sharing my screen. I can't tell if I'm sharing my screen.
The thing with the Ayatollah is that nobody really knew him, right? He just came out of nowhere. Apparently, he was some asset hanging out in Paris. And they brought him off the streets to be the focal point for the kicking the Shah out.
Yeah, it looks very similar.
Yeah.
Oh, you're sharing. Well, they can't see that.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It's an interesting little rabbit hole, right?
Definitely. I want to find the Ben Kingsley one. Gaddafi. Yeah, see, there's none of those mashups here. There's a
No, because that's new information. That's new shit that's come to light.
there's new shit that's come to light, man. Look at this one, Brent.
Probably on Twitter.
New shit has come to light. No, it's in our Discord, actually.
So what have you guys gone over tonight so far that I've missed?
Everything. Oh
All
my
right.
God. No.
Mostly cock rings.
Cock rings. Yeah.
Oh.
Elon Musk and cock rings.
No, we talked about
Musk.
we were talking about
That's my hero.
SpaceX, most of it.
Musky cock rings.
Yeah, musky cock rings.
I'm into it, dude.
I heard about the Falcon Heavy. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm into that, dude, for sure.
Falcon.
I was actually looking that up earlier today.
Yeah, I mean,
watching.
I've seen. Well, yeah, I watched it. I watched the live stream. I got home early that day, and I fired it up, man, right when it was happening, and so I watched the whole live stream of it. And
Are you sure it was live?
I watched it.
yeah, I'm on board. Okay, yeah, my
I
stance-
know you're on board.
Yeah, I'm on
damn
board.
it.
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, I you know me, man. But
I know you're
well,
the
I'm a
ever
believer
hopeful
I'm a
soul.
believer in space for sure.
James, Grim, why you guys have to
are.
have Robert on your show sometime?
Yeah, you want to come on our show?
Totally.
Anytime. Yeah. It's basically just this. We don't
It's
have
basically this, but
No,
it's
it's not like this.
it's a
No.
little different. I mean,
It's more of a
more just
podcast.
like it's just the three of us chilling, hanging on the couch, basically, and we gotta. It's fun. It's
But
laid back. It's no
fo-
holds
it's
barred.
guest
Whatever.
focused. You get it's
Mhm.
all about you, the guest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're all hanging on the couch.
It's a pretty awesome podcast.
Thanks.
Oh, thank you.
Who said that?
Yeah, we're like 30 some episodes in, man. We're just having a lot of fun, getting really interesting people like you for sure. I know your work, man. Yeah, like it'd be awesome to have you on.
Sure. Yeah, dude, that'd be cool.
We'll work something out.
Yeah. What do you call your show? What's the name of your show?
Cruising
Cruising
with
with
steak. Oh, I mean cruising with steak. Sorry.
We had Wall Thornhill on.
Yeah, Walt
Oh yeah,
Thornhill.
we got some pretty.
Thanks, Susan.
Like what, the
Oh.
third show?
Adam's having Gordon White's going to be on Adam's show Thursday.
Cool.
Wow.
I tried to
that go
weasel
last
my.
week?
It went good. I was on last night, and with Nish, we had a good time. We're trying to weasel our way into the show with Gordon. Justin can't make it.
That's a good get, man.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, dude.
One of these
Gordon
days.
White, like the
Yeah.
musician.
No.
No,
No,
The magician.
The magician, yeah.
the Rune Sid
Musician.
podcast.
Rune Soup, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that guy Gordon White? Wasn't that his name?
No.
Thinking of Jack
Barry
White?
White. Barry White.
Oh, Barry
No,
White.
not Barry White. Not
Gordon
Barry
Lightfoot.
Fine.
Gordon Lightfoot. That's what I'm thinking about.
Edmund Fitzgerald.
Is that
You
the,
could read my mind.
oh, the white stripes.
I was
is that
gonna
what you-
say Robert read his mind.
Girl,
He's still touring. That guy still tours.
I thought he's dead.
No, he's still.
Gordon Lightfoot still touring.
Worst
I
music.
thought he was dead
ever.
too.
No, he is still touring. Wow. 79 years old.
Damn.
Amazing.
Longevity. So Don McLean still tours too.
He's not dead? Dude, we're living in
Oh
some
my
kind of...
god, I thought he was dead too.
I did too. I remember when he died because everyone said
Shit.
You
it's the
can't
day-
kill the baby boomers.
No, dude, it's like some
They're
kind
never
of-
going away.
it's a
Don
Mandela
McLean.
effect.
He
died.
sang Bye Bye Miss American Pie, right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
died like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, before 2012 even.
Oh my god.
Whatever.
I'll give my little take on the
We'll
space.
just add it to the pile there. Shit that doesn't make sense.
I think the SpaceX thing. I find it a little inspiring. I think it's cool. You know, obviously it's a commercial. You know, for him to
Yeah.
to basically say like, hey man, I got some rockets for hire if you guys want to shoot some shit off into space. 'Cause that's all it's he's not like he's not NASA, dude. You know, it's like
Well, he's the new NASA though. I
you know,
mean,
I don't even know that. I mean, I think he's there to provide a ride, basically. And
Well, yeah, and the first ride went to his Tesla apparently.
exactly. Well, that was another commercial. I think it was an omen to his crew. They put a freaking car in space and just said, "Fuck it." You know,
what
like
are commercials? What's the definition of a commercial?
my definition of him, I mean, he's basically saying like, hey man, we got the power to put shit up there if you guys want to pay for it.
No, but
You know,
I mean
he's
the
all
real
about making
definition
money,
of
dude.
a commercial.
Yeah, that's the commercial
space
part of
junk
it.
will launch it.
Exactly. That's the my take on that part. But
was it
No, I'm talking about like the Oxford Dictionary definition of a commercial.
I don't know. Okay,
Wait,
yeah, but
was
I
it
don't know.
Elon
I
Musk
gotta look
what?
it up.
We don't believe in commercials.
What did you say, Taylor?
I guess I wouldn't
Did he
say
make the
commercial.
flamethrowers?
What do I want to say?
For the boring company?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
Yeah,
A promotion.
Elon
Yeah,
Musk.
there you go. A promotion of it.
flamethrowers.
Should put a flamethrower on the Falcon
On
Heavy.
the front of it,
Elon
on the
Musk.
hood, on the hood ornament.
Fire coming out of both sides.
Dude, it's like the Olympic torch right on the front of the car. That'd be awesome.
You know,
There's no oxygen.
I've said the American curling team sucks. Just gonna say it.
Dude, I thought they were good, man. I was watching like about a half hour of it, and they were, dude. Yeah, they got 3 or 4 right in the middle. Like,
I'm putting the flamethrower link in the chat.
Flamethrower on the hood of the car.
So
Totally lit
now
I
forever.
think Secure Team 10 is starting to do Bigfoot stuff.
Oh,
So this boring company,
really?
they actually bore, right? That's what they
They're
do.
boring through underneath
that's
LA,
the
right?
goal,
Or
yeah.
whatever, right?
They already
So-
did bore through.
So maybe that's the
LA.
whole thing, is that we're supposed to be looking up when we should be looking
Well,
down.
yeah, I said that earlier that this is
course.
distracting everyone from looking down. But
Um,
the underground.
well, that's
tunnels
what I
are for
liked
the
about it.
Hyperloop,
Okay,
aren't they?
that's what I liked about it. I like the idea of him saying, you know, we're not even. I don't even really give a fuck about Elon Musk. I like the fact that like it drew people. Like I found it like awe inspired. Like holy shit, dude, that thing is fucking badass, and like they're able
That's
to
the
get
whole
shit.
point, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
SpaceX.
Yeah,
If you think
Yeah.
about it, SpaceX,
Uh-huh.
I think, was a creation that resulted from the distrust in NASA.
yeah. Well, then that was another part of it. Like like there's these
Another way
steps
to push
involved
it.
with what they want to do is this provide a ride. It's like a Uber, space Uber.
James, I'll
So-
give you $1,000 when you go on a ride in SpaceX.
Go on a ride.
Dude,
No,
I'll
I'm,
do
I'm
it.
talking
I'll
about.
do it in a second.
I'm talking about like a Uber for equipment. I'm not talking about people.
I just
Well,
don't
that's it.
understand how.
That's what his whole thing is. He wants to put people. He wants to do rides for people. I just
Oh,
read that tonight.
well, if I got the loot,
And that
I'm
article
fucking
I
rolling
linked,
on it, dude.
Jared.
I'm taking it for sure.
What?
How long will it be until there's hotels on Mars?
Well, that was what I was gonna say. That well, on the flip
Well,
side
there's already
of
roach motels
SpaceX
there.
is NASA, and NASA said within the next decade they wanted to build this. It's called the Space Lunar System, which is like
Oh,
another
the
space
modular-
station.
Has somebody
that-
told Don Pettit this?
Yeah. I looked it up. Yeah, I mean,
Are they turning the moon into something?
Yeah.
no, it's just going to be another satellite that basically is really close to the moon.
What I
But
read is
they
that
said it would
Musk-
take another fucking 10 years to even come up with doing it. But they've already spent like $100 million, and they can't even. It's like, you know, their rocket, their stuff isn't. It's not going to happen. It costs too much money. Like,
Well, what I heard is that
What?
SpaceX wanted to build like a midway point, so on the moon that they could use as like a base to go to Mars from.
yeah,
It would be like a staging area.
I
But
just
then,
don't
as
understand
far
how
as-
Russia and the U.S. and India and all these other countries haven't done this yet.
they're probably doing it. I saw some
that's
The
stuff.
good
space
point.
is fake, you guys.
Wait.
Yes,
Okay.
Suzanne, we know.
Wait. So either it's
They
either
should
fake.
do that.
It's either fake or they've already done it, and that's where like the breakaway civilization.
There,
stuff
I
comes
could see
from,
the breakaway
you know?
stuff, and they want to get you distracted with all this other bullshit out here. I don't know. I got to quote in bullshit.
Elysium.
I don't know what the bullshit is.
Elysium.
Where
What's
do
up,
you
Greg?
think they would set up the staging area on the moon?
Ram.
The,
I
it would-
don't know anywhere.
it
really.
wouldn't be the
On the
dark
back
side, though.
side, it's but
Huh.
no, it's supposed to be heavier, more
Hopefully
dense.
they would
The
set it
backside
up
of the moon is
somewhere we
heavier?
can see it. Where we
It's
can
more
monitor
dense.
Yeah,
That's
if you
not
can
going to
see
be
it,
allowed.
what I
then
heard.
You can believe it.
That's
yeah.
not going to be allowed.
Why would that be?
Hey, Graham.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Graham.
Graham, you need to have Robert on your show.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I'm
Oh,
horning out
Robert
Robert.
hasn't been on their show.
No, I don't think so.
Robert who?
Robert Phoenix.
Oh yeah, no, I don't think so. We almost had him on years ago, but I don't
Robert, meet Graham. Graham, Robert.
Hey, Graham.
Hey,
Graham's
Robert.
from the Grimerica show. You get to check that out. Grimerica.com.
Also an awesome show.
Also.
Thanks, guys.
Graham at grimerica.com.
Yeah. So, it's very crazy.
Beginning to think Jerry's Robert's agent all of a sudden.
I'm so
No
thrilled he's
way.
here.
We love Robert.
Most of us are podcasters, and I know he hasn't been on
Yeah,
the show.
this
so.
is a big podcasting group that we've all formed and turned into shows, and we're all having a lot of fun, man. No doubt about it.
I'm their number one fan.
Well, you're also on some shows, Phil. You're on a lot. Mike's got his own show. Taylor, he's just a fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He's a student.
No,
He's just a student.
totally accurate.
Philosophy.
100% accurate. I don't know anything.
He's
No,
right.
he knows a lot, dude.
Padawan.
That's not true. It's not true, damn it.
No.
You know,
Robert, is this your site, Astrology for the Now Age?
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
Then
Okay,
Taylor,
cool.
you need to get in on this.
What's that?
Astrology, the whole, yeah. Like I know you're kind of
Oh,
hit to the whole
I know a
magical
bit about
astrology type.
I guess, yeah. So I'm unfamiliar with you, Robert. What do you do?
So I have I do a daily podcast stream, and about 45 minutes long, and I just riff. You know, I'll take new stuff and whatever, just riff.
Okay.
And on Sunday night, I do a live stream on YouTube, which is all astrology based. And then I work with people. I do readings, and that's how I make my money.
Oh, nice. That's cool. Yeah. I work at a.
I write about stuff. So
Okay.
yeah. I'm trying to do this next piece on the death of Michael Hutchins and looking at it from an astrological perspective, like astrological forensics. And I've got a whole thing done with Bob Geldof, and people keep telling me not to publish it.
Why?
Ooh, bad juju.
Because Bob Geldof is like really connected. That's what they say.
Like you're not?
He could do
I think Geldof is connected to the mob.
He's the Queen's stooge. He's in like that Jimmy Savile Club, right?
He's also,
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay.
He's also a bag man for multinational corporations.
Yeah. Like Clooney.
All right,
peeps. All that live aid stuff. None of that money.
Good night, failed.
See you, Phil. Have a good sleep, buddy.
Sorry.
Night,
What,
Phil.
Robert? What?
Yeah.
Adios.
Bye.
Mofos.
Who's leaving?
Failed. He's got to get up at 5 to drive a truck.
I failed.
Trucks
I'd
don't
say,
drive themselves yet?
No.
Some do.
He's our anti-vaxxer.
Only in
Failed
California. Elon Musk makes those too.
What were you saying about?
Oh, so all that money that they raised for Live Aid,
yeah,
which was a lot. It was over $300 million. Almost all of it went to the debt, right? so they were just bagmen for the debt. That's all.
The debt of what?
Ethiopia. It was for Ethiopia.
Oh, that okay. That whole
Live
thing.
Aid,
All
Live
right.
Aid, yeah.
Right, and then the money that actually went to Ethiopia, the guy Mengistu, who was the tyrant at that time, bought all kinds of weapons.
I remember that.
And so he went. So it was like Live Aid became Death Aid.
Right.
Times two. Yeah.
Did you ever finish that piece you were working on 9/11 and Vegas connections?
Yeah, I did. Actually, it's on my website.
Okay,
Yeah.
I missed that. I want to read that.
Yeah.
So what's the name of your website? You can promote that.
I got
RobertPhoenix.com.
Yep.
So the interesting thing is that let's see the time that the shots were fired. I believe that the ascendant in Vegas was like it was either Gemini or Libra, 9 degrees 11 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
And
really weird.
the shooter shot for 9 to 11 minutes.
999.
Yeah, 9 to 11. Yeah, that was fun.
And it happened. It was like the zip code is 89911 or 89119. So it was 9/11 backwards with an 8. There were 91s everywhere, like the 91
A lot of
festival.
91s.
And 10s too. Aaron Rufus Cat, he did a ton. We did a huge 3 or 4 hour show on it, going over all the weird numerological stuff.
Yeah, there's so much. There's a lot of like strange mirror imagery with the event. Like Stephen Paddock owned properties in San Marcos, Texas, and San Marcos, Nevada. It was like strange stuff like that.
Oh, you're right.
Yep.
There were a few different mirror things.
I'm still not convinced that his third brother isn't him. The one that got busted with the child porn. Yeah. Because they look a lot alike.
Yeah.
And it depends on what it depends on what the autopsy says, if we can even trust it. Because, we really haven't seen a body yet or anything. Yeah, I wouldn't trust it.
I don't trust anything from the entire Vegas story.
If you follow Jake Morphonios, he's been following up real leads about multiple shooters and everything. And he's got some of the best reporting I've seen on it. There was apparently people.
You guys broke down the multiple shooting thing like
the next
night. Remember that?
I remember.
Oh my gosh.
We were analyzing the audio that night
with Kilgar.
Yeah.
It was Mesquite, Nevada, Mesquite, Texas. My bad. Those are the two cities. Yeah.
And the whole thing about the Paradise Club,
the whole Tom Petty thing, kind of going on at the same time, right? It was like really strange. And then the guy who was on stage,
Jason Aldean. Yeah.
Then he gets on Saturday Night Live the next week and sings Tom Petty.
Yes. Oh God.
Yeah. And do you know that
his tattoo
Jason
matches
Aldean, right? The tattoo matches. And he and Ariana Grande and Taylor Swift all have the same manager.
Yes.
And the false flag happened with Ariana Grande, alleged false flag.
Right.
In England.
Was Taylor Swift at Lollapalooza?
Right? Manchester.
Taylor Swift. I don't know. Remember, we were trying to figure out what was going to happen with her if anything had happened.
Well, that was the whole Chicago link, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Where he was searching hotels and shit.
He had booked hotels in Chicago, LA, I think, in Vegas.
That's the weekend that's my weekend.
You were there, yeah, I know.
That'll go down in James Cruz's history.
And it also has ties to G4S.
Yes.
Which is Orlando.
What about the theory that Trump was actually in Vegas and this was a hit on Trump? Have you heard about that?
I have.
I've heard about that.
There's so many.
He was there meeting with
MBS.
Salvo.
Yeah, right.
But didn't it come out that it was Pence that was there, not Trump?
Yeah. So why did Wynn quit? What's the deal on that?
Sexual
harassment.
No, the real reason.
Sexual eating babies? I don't know.
That's the
probably because he's gonna get sued the shit out of.
No,
already is.
I figured that was just a false.
The company probably made him step down so they didn't get sued too.
All right,
or they don't have as much.
Step back a little and look at what the QAnon dude person thing did like 2 weeks ago. A week watched. He said, "Keep an eye on all the people stepping down in Congress and the private sector." Well, he did. I mean, he's been saying, keep track of this. It's going to be.
It's allegedly
escalating. Who?
QAnon.
Oh, whatever.
Is a she?
It's a group.
Supposedly, I don't know.
It's Trump. No. And today, Rachel Brand stepped down, the third in charge at DOJ, or yesterday, right? So that just leaves Rosenstein and
and the director of the CDC stepped down for
allegedly buying tobacco stocks. Like that matters.
Yeah, I know.
Like everyone in government who has money in 401k.
And they were buying stock of, and she was buying stock of Merck.
If her money is in 401k and it's being managed by Vanguard or
if it's a 401k thing and she doesn't know what the hell, like she can't. I vote
Vanguard.
not to.
Oh no, I got a Vanguard account.
Right, and if you have a Dow Jones stock, if you have an SPI fund or a Dow Jones fund, you're going to have shares of Merck. You're going to have shares of Philip Morris because they're in the Dow Jones.
Well, they made it sound like she
may have
calling her broker on the phone.
I made like $1,200 in 1 year on my money in there.
Dude, I made $8 million in Bitcoin.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, Robert, you're into the dream spell too. That's cool.
Yeah.
Spell.
So I got a question for Robert about that whole Live Aid thing. Do you think that was the start of really starting people to realize that there's a big opportunity there with charity fraud and stuff like that? Like
No, that was Farm Aid.
that was Farm
Well,
Aid.
there was a whole
Farm Aid
string.
happened in the 70s,
I
wasn't
mean,
it?
there's a whole string of them at that time, right?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, and yeah. So yeah, I think that was going on, but there was also an energy during the '80s that was set off by the harmonic convergence that I really felt like was more about unification, and they kind of hijacked it and then commercialized it, and of course absconded with the assets. And then all that sort of concresses in 1991 with the Gulf War in Iraq. And
That turned that good love into hate, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
basically, yeah.
yeah.
So it's like it's
Just like in the 60s.
The world all got together under one cause, right?
Could
And
you
that
feel
caused
being
Saddam
what is
Hussein.
he? Let's say like you're in your 20s, 30s at that time, maybe in the 80s, and like did you really feel that good vibe? Like I mean, in life in general at that
Yes,
time.
totally.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Totally.
I mean, I was a
Yeah.
80s kid. I mean, I felt comfortable in life. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but
Yeah, but
not
it
that
felt
I
like
was aware of that shit.
Well, I mean, Live Aid was one of those kind of magic moments where it connected the entire world.
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
I still
Yeah.
get chills listening to some of the music from the show.
We are the world.
Yeah.
So that was that, right?
That was
Yeah.
just going
Okay.
through my head.
Wasn't Live Aid the one where they put
We are
out the
children.
Christmas music song?
Yeah, it started off with "Do They Know It's Christmas Time?"
Right.
this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Quincy Jones played a role in that too.
Oh yeah, I think he orchestrated it all, didn't he?
Yeah, have you guys read that Quincy Jones interview that came out on Vulture?
The new one. This new. I didn't. I think there was something new about it.
Not yet.
but-
Yeah, you should read it. It's pretty wild.
Is that where he's like he's had
What's up,
sex
bro?
with all these different guys and stuff? Like
Well, no,
Yeah.
I mean, he's just like he's just throwing down. I mean,
Yeah.
he talks about Brando.
yeah. Yeah.
He talks about Michael Jackson, called Michael Jackson the cheat motherfucker. So,
I put the link in chat. And Graham, I think to answer your question, I don't think that the type of charity fraud that like
What's up, Ren?
Charles Ortel is talking about was happening with Farm Aid and Live Aid, but I don't know that.
When did
Well,
they start the
Live
Clinton
Aid,
Foundation?
Live Aid, they basically took that money and recirculated it back into the World Bank and the IMF. Right? They just so Ethiopia owed money, and they took the money and gave it back to the IMF.
Paid off their interest, I see.
Theoretically, right? Exactly.
Well, you said this was in '87,
They should
right?
clear out the debt anyway, but that's what they did.
This was in '87.
Live Aid was in 85. It was organized by Geldof and Midge Ure. Oh, Midge Ure.
Very strong Masonic connections.
Absolutely.
Midge, fuck, great song, great songwriter. That guy.
He's a little tyrant.
Didn't Geldof do Woodstock?
No. He was the Boomtown Rats.
He was Pink in Pink Floyd's.
Yes. He shaved his eyebrows. He's a freak.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah.
That's
Then grew a really long white beard
And
and had a
his
staff.
daughter died overdosed
Seriously?
on
That's
heroin in
Geldof?
England.
On a Monday.
Right?
On a Monday.
Peaches was
Peaches, yes.
against pedophilia.
Yikes.
Mm.
Peaches, the singer, Peaches?
No,
No, his daughter.
She was going off against pedophilia.
Yep.
She was naming names, and not long
Oh,
ago,
they had to shut her up.
she was dead.
On a Monday.
She also belonged to the OTO. She was an OTO person.
Yeah, I heard that. And she died on a Monday, Jer? Is that what you said?
That's what I thought. And
Why are you running?
I thought it was funny
away?
that she died on a Monday
Dum, dum, dum.
because he hates Mondays. Never mind.
Oh, he hates Mondays. Okay, I get it. Yeah, that's fine.
That song actually, I Hate Mondays, is based on a school shooting in England.
San Diego.
Or San Diego, was it? Yeah.
Yeah, he was the story behind that is he was actually being interviewed at a radio station. And that story came across the AP wire while he's being interviewed. and then he like grabbed it and wrote a song about it after that. That was their only big hit, I think. Really big hit.
What
He
school
says he
shooting
only-
was that?
What's that?
What school shooting was that?
It was at I
Was-
think a middle school in San Diego.
Was that before the McDonald's shooting down there, or
Yeah.
after?
I don't know. The girl's name was Shannon something, right?
Santa Inez, wasn't it?
I'll find out.
That's
Now
interesting.
I got the wall stuck in my head.
I mean, of all the things to get stuck in your head, it's not a bad one.
That's not a bad one.
Any of the songs.
All right, it was the Cleveland Elementary School in San Diego. January 29th, 1979.
What was her name?
Principal and a custodian were killed. 8 kids were killed. And a police officer. Brenda Spencer, is that the woman who lived in the house across the street from school, was convicted of the shootings?
Brenda Spencer. That was her name.
That was
Holy
a shooter,
shit.
yes.
Yeah.
Run to the bedroom.
A reporter reached Spencer by phone while she was still in the house after the shooting and asked her why she did it. She answered, "I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day." Which inspired Bob Geldof to write the Boomtown Rats song, "I Don't Like Mondays."
Oh my god.
The silicon chip inside her head. I love that song.
Oh my gosh.
I just closed the YouTube window. Right.
That's really good.
Is anyone in the YouTube chat? I don't have YouTube.
There's- We have like 20 people watching.
Nice. What up?
Hello, YouTube.
14 right now. There were
Man,
24
cool,
at one
YouTube
point.
chat. I don't have.
Yeah, there were quite a bit in here.
Ah,
Got 14
All my
thumbs up.
friends.
yeah,
All
this-
my friends.
it's all the same people too. Actually, there's new people here tonight. It's nice. Allison's
people?
here. We need to give shout outs. Allison's here. Lee's always greatest potential.
Hi, Lee.
Mystery One came. I haven't seen
GB.
her in months.
Hello.
Hello.
Where's where's Jaded Sofa?
She's Jet Pet 1000. She's here.
Oh, that little stinker.
She changed
Jet
her name a long time ago. Darcy was
She's
here.
so smart.
Darcy, remember Darcy was. We're going to talk about the Freemasons or the Templars, right?
Yeah.
We're organizing a Jesuit, Templar.
Yeah.
No, wait.
Do that.
God, Grim, what was it with Eric? We're going to do a Freemason, right?
It was Freemasons, Jesuits,
Jesuits.
and what was the other one?
Templars.
Yeah.
We're going to
Going
get
deep.
3
Going
experts
deep.
and we're gonna talk it out. That's going to be a good time.
Experts. We got this. So we need Eric, Suzanne.
That
who
is
else?
nasty.
The Templars, the Freemasons. Who's a Jesuit?
You know
Well, I
any
know a lot
Jesuit?
about the Jesuits.
Yeah, well,
I
then
can't do Templars and Jesuits.
What the
There you
bleep
go.
is a
Sure.
Jesuit?
you can.
I can.
I'll
I
do.
know a
I'll
lot
do the
about
Scaligeri part of Jesuits.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the Freemasons, what's up with that? So I kind of want to become a Freemason, but I'm a little bit skeptical and not sure what to do.
Join.
Good.
Help out in your community.
Join.
I think that's what they do.
Yeah, you go fingerprint
see.
kids.
Yeah, it's nothing serious.
Yeah, they do implants now. They don't even fingerprint.
Help out the trafficking effort.
Oh.
Jesuits, Templars, and Masons. Oh my.
You could be in a parade.
It's basically a drinking club.
It's a drinking
All
club.
I'll tell you.
50-cent beer night.
I'll tell you, Taylor. The
Are you
local.
Elks.
Are you
the-
married? Are
That's
you
the
married?
odds.
No, I'm not married.
Yeah.
The
They're good
local.
at wrecking marriages.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
The local lodges are
Right.
fine. You'll be fine.
Well, I'm more interested in like the esoteric and
You're
the
never
occult
going to
stuff.
find that in a.
You're not gonna find that out there.
Nah.
Well, there's
No.
Just get a book up. Just get Manly Hall.
Yep.
Yeah.
there's
Just
there's
Morals
3
and
lodges in
dogma.
Minneapolis that are
Yeah.
occult friendly. One of them's called Arcana.
Look for
I
the
think
OTO.
once you get to those
lodge.
like what's
Also, go to the
once you
Rosy
get past
Cross.
Yep. Rosicrucians.
once you get past like the
Ah.
33rd, when you get to the 34th where it's like super secret.
I'll
Yeah.
warn you now. I'll warn
They
you now.
tell you about
They
the Pleiadians.
Yes.
pronounce esoteric esoteric. So when you go in there,
Is that in
Is
Canada?
that the Canadian version?
no, that's just, I'm telling you.
I don't believe that. But if that's
like sodomy.
I think Taylor, in knowing you, now that I know you better, I think you'd be better off looking for an OTO lodge.
See, I work
Definitely
in the OTO, and he says that it's not a very friendly place to be. At least the one in Minneapolis or whatever.
Well, there's got to be other.
What do you think from it?
Thelemic or other types of magical orders.
I don't really ascribe to like Thelema that much. Like I think some of the stuff's interesting, but I wouldn't necessarily hold those up as my beliefs.
Well, you said that there were 3 Masonic lodges that were esoteric friendly, right?
Yeah.
So they're advertising.
Yeah, but they're esoteric friendly.
They might do more stuff.
But they might just think of it as spiritual, not what.
Yeah, I guess you would really have to pin them down on their definition.
Or
sure.
You
Well,
and
like
like your own religion.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of what I
Commonwealth chanting.
Commonwealth chanting. There you go.
I work with alchemy for the most part in terms of like spiritual alchemy or whatever, but I don't know. I don't have any kind of like religion, so I don't really want to join like a cult, so to speak.
That's what
I don't think you're going to find any alchemy in the Masonic lodges.
No, you're not. And they are all cults, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
In a way.
Well, the Masons are still public, and it's such like a different vibe.
Well, they have an esoteric side and they have an exoteric side.
True.
Why don't we just start our own cult or religion?
Cthulhu. We are, Jerry. What was it called?
Cult of Cthulhu.
Cult of Cthulhu.
No,
come on, Grim.
That would just be repeating the same old bullshit. Everyone needs to find their own religion.
Nomad's in the house.
Oh yeah. Here we go.
Nomad, I think Cthulhu's a distraction. To be honest.
Center yourself.
We
should work on yourself.
Nature, and
you have to admit, being
numbers.
in a group is pretty nice.
I think
Taylor said,
it's a support group.
Alchemy.
I think the power of the group is in keeping our energy focused forward in a good direction, a positive direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's
maybe
that's
that vibe now is
Definitely.
But
it's
to organize
morphing with electronics to a higher energy. Maybe that's what's happening.
If that's your intention, it will happen.
Well, just in general, like the mass production of electronics and being ingrained in everybody now, maybe I don't know, but now we can use this technology to push further. Maybe that's the leap. I don't know.
You just reminded me. I'll ask Robert this question. I've always wanted to ask Gordon White, and when I interview him, I will. But he holds an animist view of the universe, and that things can contain spirits and everything. Trees have spirits, rocks have spirits. I want to know what kind of spirit inhabits an iPhone.
That's Armon.
Siri?
It's Armon. It's the Harmonic forces.
Armon? I've never heard that.
The Aramonic?
Yeah, the Aramonic forces. The first guy I interviewed, who hopefully I'll be posting soon enough, but he talks all about, what's that guy's name? Fuck, I'm sorry. Now I totally spaced it. He did the Waldorf schools, Rudolf Steiner. And he talks all about the Armonic, how there's basically the battle that we're waging is between the Christos, the Armonic forces, and the Luciferian forces. And the 3 of those work together. And so
it's the Holy Trinity.
Sort of. And the Armonic forces would be like the Borg, basically. So it's like it's the AI. It's all things tech.
It's the Klipov, isn't it?
I'm not sure what that is.
Of the Tree of Life.
Oh, okay.
It's like
the Aramonic forces would be?
Yeah, the Armonic. Yep. I don't know how exactly it's pronounced, but
you sure it's not Aramaic?
No, it's not.
It sounds like Aramaic.
It could be.
It's
I think it may be Aramaic people.
It's AHR.
Isn't that Jesus Christ's line?
That's right.
Right.
Superstar.
So they're Aramaic.
I'm looking. Aramonic deception. Yeah, here it is. The
Let's see if I can
Aramonic
find this.
cosmic forces of nature.
Aramonic?
This page won't come up though.
And so what the Luciferian or the devil, so the opposite of the Aramaic. would
no, it would be three forces.
Oh, the three. That's right.
So
equal.
supposedly, when the planet blew up and Lucifer took off, he went to this system where the harmonic forces control that system.
Got
and
it.
they came back. The AI has already taken over. The Borg has already taken over. And then he came back here, and the two of them are working together. Now the whole thing, who knows? I mean, who knows?
The two of who?
The demonic and the harmonic.
Yeah, the Luciferian.
Who's the third one though?
The Christos.
The AI. Oh, wait, so then who's
energy.
the Christos if
They're just
Christ is
energies.
Aramaic?
They're just energies.
No, Christ is not. No, these are three different forces. Three different forces. And so he's saying in everybody, because he says he was a clairvoyant, and so he believes that he knows somehow that there's three forces that are constantly working on everyone and everything here. So you have this tech force, you also have the demonic force, and you also have the
Christos. Krishna force.
The Christos, yeah.
Okay.
What would the tech force be before there was technology?
Oh no, this is really, really old. I mean, who knows? I mean, what was God before there was anything? But this point of view, way before that, this point of view is that we haven't developed this tech. It's that basically the tech is being impulsed to us, and we're trying to grow to a certain degree to where then we can bring that harmonic force to the planet, and it'll become its own thing. So we're welcoming it here.
It's already happening.
Sounds very transhumanistic.
Yeah. Oh, it's very transhuman. Yes. Yeah.
That's what CERN is all about.
Yes.
And
yes.
possibly the
all of that.
chemtrails.
Yeah. And the chemtrails,
Yeah,
because
totally.
they're terraforming.
Terraforming.
Bioforming.
Yeah, bioforming.
Did anybody watch the Cloverfield paradox?
I watched it.
Not yet.
Yep.
Oh God, it's fucking awesome.
It was good, dude. It was really good.
Yeah, man. That's just particle accelerator.
What is that?
Boom! It's on Netflix. It's like a particle accelerator experiment on a like a space station to provide free energy that they would beam down, and something goes really wrong when
Supposedly they already have those.
It's good though. I want to for anybody who has it's good.
No, I'm not rude. No. I'm saying PG&E and other companies are supposedly already have like what is it? The stuff that catches the sun and for energy.
Solar.
Transmutes it into
Solar.
solar. Sorry, God, why couldn't I think of solar?
Hard.
Jeez.
Excuse me.
The squirrel. There was a squirrel.
Squirrel.
Jesus. So they supposedly have these mirrors and stuff, and that's why that's one theory I've heard. But I think there is stuff in PG&E's in their budget that talks about solar, other energies other than
helium.
No.
Are you connecting that to the fires? Are you connecting that to the fires in California?
I believe that if they really do have those things, I believe they could totally be connected. Yes, because I'm in California.
Fire in the middle.
I drove over to the fire that happened in Santa Rosa and Sonoma and Napa because I'm from Vacaville and I live in Davis, and
right.
I drove over to like Green Valley Road where it was starting to come up.
Have you seen any Deborah Tavares' stuff?
Oh, all of it. And oh my gosh, gone down huge rabbit hole with because the fire that happened directly after I saw that interview was the Rocky fire in Middletown.
Right.
And it happened right where the geothermal plant is that Jerry Brown put in when he was governor the first time. And it failed. And the Carlyle Group owns it. This rabbit hole just got wider and wider. It was horrible. Or deeper and deeper, not wider and wider. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, PG&E is up to some strange shit in California.
Well, and I know that the firefighters were out cleaning up all of their debris that they never cleaned up from before the fires started. And it was a mandatory, like, emergency situation for the firefighters who were having to clean up all that debris. And it wasn't from them going after the fire and cutting, like all the tree limbs
already
away
there.
from.
Yeah.
It was already there that they hadn't cleaned up, and it was an emergency situation because they didn't want anybody to see it.
Mm.
Lots of kindling.
So those lawsuits, the people that are suing PG&E, I don't know. They have so many lawyers. Those poor people in San Bruno barely got anything.
That San Bruno thing was crazy.
Right? You should read their budget. It's online, and it talks about like how they were trying to not pay the people as much money. It's horrible.
It was like 2010, right?
Yeah, it was either 2009 or 2010.
Yeah, I followed that pretty. I was living in Point Richmond at the time, and when I heard about it and started digging in right away, it was blowing my mind.
Yeah,
like the accounts of it, like people were claiming that they heard like a missile. I mean, everything before the actual fire itself.
Oh yeah, that would be the gas, like spewing out of the pipes and stuff that weren't capped. That it sounds like a missile when you hear gas, or like a propane tank before it blows up.
Yeah, but
it sounds like a missile.
But it was like they were targeting one person specifically there.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. It was a woman who actually worked for PG&E.
Holy crap, I haven't heard that.
No, I forget her name now, but she was working for PG&E, and she apparently was like onto this whole gas line thing. It was that was like an ironic piece, is that like, oh wow, she actually
they killed her with the gas.
Yeah, I think she was targeted. And I think
that's what I'm saying. They killed her by blowing her up. So she was onto the gas lines that are not, they're not up to code anymore. They are dangerous.
That's right. She was,
yes.
But she was like I think she was like an accountant or something. Like,
she probably came across it.
She got to it through some kind of like discrepancy in the budget and the money, and things weren't adding up, right? That's what I
if you're not spending money on infrastructure. I
was living in LA in 2001, and my uncle was an accountant for Arthur Andersen at the time, and he was telling me, if you have any money, you got to put it into Enron because it's going to be awesome. And I'm driving around LA, and they're doing rolling power outages.
Yeah.
So you'd go onto a certain street, and all the shops are dark, and the traffic lights are out and everything. And I'm like, this is LA? Like, this was my first time living in LA, and I was just like, what the hell? This is really weird.
Called the brownouts.
Yeah, the brownouts. I thought that was really weird. And he's like, you got to buy Enron because it's going to go up. And I'm like, well, if it's worth so much, then why are they doing this? And if you watch The Smartest Guys in the Room, they talk all about PG&E and how they were, basically calling these different power companies and telling them not to sell the power so that they could sell it for more to other markets. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but if you check it out, it's so basically they were pulling it off of some. Oh, is that D-Ron?
They were shorting the stock.
That's his gas line.
Yeah, they were shorting people so that they could charge more money to others.
Right.
And it was just ridiculous. And I'm like, no, dude, don't put any of your money in Enron. This whole thing's going to collapse. And no shit, like, I don't know, what was it in the end of that year in 2001, right? That Enron collapsed or whatever.
Yeah, I was living in California then. It was crazy what they were doing.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, wasn't it?
I can't believe PG&E is still a viable company. Like,
it's PG&E and it's SoCal Edison.
It's crazy.
And apparently the whole United States, the Rothschilds own.
That's right. That's what Deborah Tavares says.
Right. And she always has documentation to back up what she's saying. I've
Now,
gone
what I
and
thought
looked.
was weird about the fires was that what was that one town that burned because Trump came
Santa
out
Rosa.
well, no, it was another some big fire. Anyway, Trump came out and said that they were going to move the base to
Israel,
Jerusalem,
or Jerusalem, yeah,
to Jerusalem.
I was gonna say
And one
this
of
is
the
all
very
linked over to them. Yeah,
and one of the very first things that came out from was this one thing that was like, well, then it's going to burn, everything's going to burn, and we suggest that everyone fight against this with fire. And so then immediately all these fires start in California, and it's like the worst fire that they've seen, or the third worst fire in history. I mean, the coincidence of that is just too much. But
that was down in
top
Ventura.
on top of that coincidence, there was a QAnon post like the day before the fire started that said we're going to smoke them out.
Yeah.
And you know where that fire started? Down in Southern
Hollywood.
California.
In Hollywood.
Yeah.
The Aquino College.
Ah, interesting.
The big one, the huge one.
Any
It
relation?
started with a T, didn't it? The name of it?
It was, isn't it the Thomas Aquino College? He's a saint
St.
from
Thomas Aquino, yeah. Aquino.
Yeah, St. Thomas Aquino.
Aquinas, yes, that's it.
Aquinas, sorry.
Wait, who was supposedly responsible for the fire? I missed that.
They haven't said who's responsible.
Okay.
But SoCal Edison did come out and say, just like PG&E did in Santa Rosa and Napa, the whole Northern California fire. Yeah, we think that it might have been our equipment. Like they came out right away, just like PG&E did. I couldn't believe it when I saw that.
Okay.
What company does that?
Here's the woman. Her name was Jacqueline Grieg, and she worked for the CPUC, which is the California Public Utilities Commission.
Yeah, which is owned by Rothschilds.
That advocates for consumer rights pertaining to natural gas regulations. She spent part of the summer evaluating PG&E's expansion plans and investment proposals to replace out-of-date pipelines.
Wow.
So she got a lot of really good information.
Well, do you guys want to hear another theory that I've got?
Always.
Except it's a little bit different. Here in Canada, they had a few years ago, and maybe Graham can tell me, but they had the Fort Mac fires. Do you guys remember seeing all that on
Fort McMurray? Yep.
Fort McMurray.
That's pretty close to failed too.
Yep.
So the Fort McMurray fires, it was really funny because the year before my wife was starting to get into I don't know, the festivals and different things, and she was starting to talk about Beltane. So I looked into Beltane a bit, and it's the festival of fire. And Beltane originally starts on, it starts on April 30th, and it goes until midnight of between May 1st and 2nd. And you'd have to look into all the different stuff about Beltane. I don't want to,
sounds like a May Day ritual.
It's like worship of
it's
Baal,
all May
right?
Day, that's right.
Yeah.
It's May Day and such.
But isn't it centered around Baal worship?
Yes, it's all about Baal. That's right.
Yeah,
it's all about Baal
it
worship.
is.
That's exactly right.
Isn't that a Molech? Isn't that like a
same thing?
Molech?
Yeah.
It's a Wiccan.
It's a Wiccan. Yep. But it's also one of the largest satanic holidays. Is Beltane.
Yeah,
because it's all about Baal worship, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and that's not Baphomet either.
Ball worship, like what kind of balls?
BAAL. Hey, Darren.
Huge, huge balls.
Huge balls.
Huge.
So
huge.
So I'm laughing. I'm talking to her, about Beltane, and so I'm looking at it, all of it. And then in the research of it, what they would do is part of the Beltane festivals back in the day, long ago, because this has been around for thousands of years that they've been celebrating this. So they have a bonfire, and they set the bonfires, and they're all, because I would have to say it would be like Lord of the Rings is what comes to mind. So like when you set this fire, it's a beacon.
Mm-hmm.
So they have these beacon hills where they always build these fires. And if one town needs to signal to another town, they would light their beacon fire.
Nice.
Right? And so if you look on the NASA, you can look it up real quick. Jerry could do this maybe. If you just type in Fort Mac fire, NASA, start or something, and it'll show you how it started, and it starts at like 1:32 a.m. on May 2nd, and it started in this subdivision. I'll have to look up, but Beacon Hill subdivision, just outside of the Beacon Hill subdivision. Yeah. So here at the very end of this 3-day flight time of midnight, because at 1:32 NASA's satellites begin to pick up this fire, and then the whole thing catches and starts going. So then last summer, I'm just like, well, I mean, it was obviously, I mean, who knows? It could have been just some kids playing, been this grand conspiracy, but it's definitely a coincidence.
What day of the week was it?
I don't know.
It was May 2nd, right?
Hey Google, what day of the week was May 2nd?
What year was that though? D, was it?
Falls on a Wednesday.
I think it was 2015.
2015?
I'm gonna have to look all that up. I'm sorry, I don't have that on me.
But
the last little part of this is last year I take my daughter to this environmental fair at City Hall, and one of the little games that they have is like all the, I don't know, national parks or whatever type people, and they have they're talking to kids, and they're like, do you know the difference between natural and man-made disasters? And they're like, the Fort McMurray disaster, that was a natural disaster that happened because of climate change.
Oh God!
Kids,
no way.
They're telling the kids. No, I mean, obviously, this is something. I mean, naturally, this is the progression in 2017 where we are last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like, well, hold on a second. I mean, they came out right away in the fire guy on like day 1 or 2. They're like, hey, what's going on with this? And he's like, well, obviously we think it was a man-made thing, but we're not really sure. And then they never really talked about any of it again. I mean, this was a huge thing. It brought the price of oil up by like 30%, just that one thing. And so then I started laughing about it because I always have these little things. And so then I started saying, see, look at that. That's Beltane right there. And then I said, well, I bet it's because a lot of times what you would do with Beltane is you would plant because it happens in the spring, you would write down what you want and you put it into the fire. And then that's part of that ritual is so that these things would come to you in the future, your whatever that is. So I said, what would they be doing? What sort of future event would they be doing this ritual for? And then I said, well, it's right next to Shell, and Shell is trying to start automating things. So if you have this huge fire that wipes out a town of 90,000, how many of the 90,000 are going to return to that town? By the time they rebuild the town, a lot of people have already moved off and done things. And if they start automating these trucks, they don't need 90,000 people to work there anymore. So to me, it just seemed what they were doing was they were starting this whole thing. And of course, I'm conjecturing on all this because I've been alone in this because very few people are interested in hearing about it. Everybody else came up with this,
which is a really interesting theory.
It's not that we're not interested. It's just really hard to get news.
I know. And I need to, what I want to do for this Beltane show is I want to have someone come on and tell me all about Beltane. And then have someone from the fire from Fort Mac come on and not tell them anything about Beltane, but tell them instead, this is the anniversary of the fire or whatever. Tell me what happened. And then on the show, you can hear both sides of it. So that's it. My rant's done.
And wasn't it super windy too?
Well, it was. And of course, the climate had a lot to do with it because they've been spraying so much that all these trees, you start spraying aerosolized aluminum on all these trees.
Right.
It's just an accelerant. I mean, of course, the whole thing's going to go off.
But I mean, the whole thing with the wind was the theme with the fires here in California. So I watched a video of the Fort McMurray fire, but it's like 3 years later. So I was aware of it, but I really wasn't aware of it. So I don't know. I'm just asking, was the wind a factor? Had there been like wind warnings before the fire.
The wind may have been a factor, but I don't know that it was the main factor. I think it was just because the trees were so dry, and once you started that big fire, it just went off.
Okay, but before that Santa Rosa, Napa, the fire over there here in Northern California, we were warned like 5 days in a row, like twice when I would drive my son to work and back, I would hear the warnings like 2 times for every like intermission of a program, which was really strange.
Like high wind warnings, you mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Red flag warnings for high wind and because we'd been so dry. Yeah. Although we had just had that major, flood rain last year, but yes, it was insane. I was like, what the heck? Okay, they're doing this. This is purposeful, whatever they're doing. They're going to do something because they keep talking about the high winds. And then you never heard that. I've lived here, God, how many years? Over 45 years.
You're old.
Over 50, almost. I've lived here 48 years.
When I was a kid.
And they were calling in the Santa Ana winds. Those are in Southern California.
Did you get a big bag of candy for a nickel when you were a kid? Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
There's a guy in chat, one of our regulars. His name is Blue Blood Guitar. He lives in Beacon Hill, and he would love to talk to you about that because he agrees.
Ooh, that's cool.
He really lives in Beacon Hill in Fort Mac?
He went to school there, he said. I'll go back.
Awesome, totally. Have him, for sure.
I gave him an invite to your Discord channel.
Perfect.
He said.
I see Lee's talking about it quite a bit too.
Lee knows a lot about it, yes.
Is anybody saying the winds were a factor?
No.
No? Okay.
Fire and Fury, yeah, totally. Anyway.
30 plus and never saw it that hot here before is what Blue
Blood.
Blue Blood. Yeah, he's saying it was 30 plus, which it was really hot. And he'd never seen it that hot there before, which I don't know. I don't think
for May
30 plus isn't really.
He's in Calgary. He grew up in Fort Mac, he said. Or he grew up and worked.
It was a super high pressure. I explained all this to a guy who grew up in Fort Mac, and he was his jaw was totally dropped when I was explaining the whole thing to him. So I think I'm onto something.
So I think you are too. And if
I do too.
You totally are, dude.
If you look at the Vegas event, it has similar markers.
Totally.
The thing I get hung up on with Vegas is that those markers couldn't have all been planned. It couldn't all been orchestrated to happen that way. It's not possible. So it's more that the events that occurred kind of coalesced into an energy that's represented by all the synchronicity. And I think, that's kind of the same thing there. Does it look like a Beltane energy ritual because of the surrounding of, is it the cause, not the effect?
Well, they just recently announced that they're going to lay off like 500 positions because they're bringing in 150 new drone trucks.
Sure.
So they are moving forward very rapidly with this automation thing.
Okay.
I mean, it totally makes sense. You don't need guys to be
driving for the people that were doing
trucks.
I'm just saying
there's one fucking truck plows through a fucking crowd of people that doesn't have a driver.
There's no crowd of people there.
Well, wait, first of all,
it's okay. The truckers union will fucking figure something out.
There was
I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
There was a news story today about the first successful cross-country driverless semi, by the way.
Yeah. It's not far off. I mean, and I kind of welcome it. I don't know. I think that driverless should have happened 10 years ago. But
anyway, back to the Beltane thing. It's interesting to look. If regardless of how it happened, and the results of it are happening. So if it wasn't a ritual and it was an accident, what does that mean? You know what I mean? It's like,
it just seems too coincidental for it to have started right at the exact end of Beltane.
I agree. I remember seeing satellite
too much of a
stuff of it too. Yeah.
What if it's an op?
It's a hot op.
Well, this is the other thing too. Is
Jade Helm operation.
It wasn't Jade.
Well, no, he's saying to get people because they wanted to automate.
Yeah, right.
Shaw wanted to automate, so they wanted to get all these people out. That
So
could be an
if
option.
you look at it this way, that the companies wanted to get them out so they could automate. It was a genocide thing, whatever you want. Not genocide, but whatever.
It's like a Titanic.
Clear the land.
I think it's
kind
much
of-
bigger than that. Just getting the people out.
Right. Now, the question is, did they harness the power of the Beltane in doing that?
There's no R in it. It's just Beltane.
Oh, Beltane. Sorry.
Is it? Doesn't
No,
Fort
it's all right.
McMurray- Doesn't Fort McMurray have like a high amount of uranium? I mean, isn't that what that's about? I mean, clearing the people out so they can start mining uranium there. That's what I've heard.
Maybe. Maybe.
I don't know. They all
I don't
built.
know.
They're all gone back though. That's the thing.
But
Everyone's gone back already.
My point's still valid. Whether or not the reason it was done was for profit or whatever, was it also done in conjunction or at that time to take advantage of those, to do a ritual at the same time? Did they plan it that way, or did it just happen that way? That's all.
May 3rd is an interesting day. I mean, if you look back in history, like May 2nd and May 3rd, there's a lot going on in those 2 days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like 1986, Chernobyl happened on May 2nd.
And
then in 1802, Washington, D.C. was incorporated on May 3rd. So there's some interesting stuff happening with those 2 days. Those are just 2 events. There's more.
Yep.
Now, I wonder what day that is on like the Hebrew calendar and the Julian calendar.
And I wonder if it has to do with the ley lines or the.
I wonder if it's just a big distraction.
The other line.
Madeline McCann got kidnapped on May 3rd.
Gavin who?
Who?
Madeline McCann.
Oh, Madeline McCann. Yeah, by those 2 creepy dudes.
3,500 businesses free fire, and over half are closed down now.
Wow.
Harder was her parents.
Adam Weishaupt on May 1st, definitely.
Weishaupt, that's the
guy who founded the Illuminati.
Illuminati, yeah.
Yeah.
The Bavarian Illuminati.
Bavarian.
He's the guy in the $1 bill, or yeah.
But then he quit and
He
became
just
a
brought it
Freemason.
back. He
Guy
didn't
on the
found
$1.
it.
No,
He's that guy.
the Vatican
He was
broke
told
up.
to bring it back. They already had one.
The Vatican broke up the Illuminati, and they all became Freemasons.
Jesuits.
The Vatican is
Hey,
part
did
of
you
the
see did
Illuminati.
the Freemasons just come out and say that they're being discriminated against?
Yeah, they did in Parliament.
I love it.
I wonder why.
Or,
I mean,
You know,
seriously, I
don't
wonder
fucking
why.
blame 'em, man. Like, all the Masons I've met have been impeccable people.
Yeah, me too.
well,
Exactly.
that's because they're lower level.
Well, it makes good men better.
Not all.
Exactly. and
Titles.
Here we are. They just get
We
shit
don't
on.
even
I don't
know
blame
if
'em.
like the people who are doing bad shit, if there are any people doing bad shit, we don't know if they're Masons or not. Or
You know what my wife
That's
seen today
one
on Facebook?
distraction.
what?
Some fucking chick was hating on. They're doing this. There's this Facebook fucking face swap bullshit going on. I won't do it because I think I'll be too good looking, and
Yeah,
it's
probably.
gonna,
It's gonna depress you.
it's gonna be weird. So I'm not doing it. Plus, I think there's some weird face thing there, but I don't know. I'm just not putting myself in this position. But anyway, some lady.
I think it was James Corbett was talking about that too.
A huge comment saying, "Hey, if you can't do blackface, you can't do this."
Oh shit!
Yep.
By
These
the way,
motherfuckers just ruining the world. man. It's
Darren,
just-
congratulations on your THC show. That was pretty good. I heard that today.
Oh, is that out?
Yeah.
I got to listen to that.
Yeah, same here.
Cool.
Been out for a couple days.
Came out
Nice.
okay. Yeah, that's good.
Good job.
Put a lot of good info out there.
Totally.
Brilliant.
Glad it's over. I bet.
No doubt.
Yeah, well, that'll be the fucking one that hopefully gets around. I can get a couple more going.
Good.
Oh,
Really
you'll
all
totally
about-
get some people from it.
It's publicity, really. It's,
Mhm.
publicity. It's all publicity.
But you were
It was
just really
also
nervous
brilliant,
going
though.
on there. So
I think Darren
I
was
was
talking about
looking
getting
at
on
it.
some more shows though about
Oh.
vaccines, right?
Right.
Darren? Is that what you're saying?
Weren't you going to do
Fucking-
stuff
Yeah,
with
I
the
got I got a show you can come on.
No, dude, he already did. He debuted his vaccine.
I
on
know.
our show.
Since when are you calling your mom a show?
Oh,
Oh.
that was a good one, dude. Holy shit. Dude, just he dropped all the mics in this
on the
room.
show.
Didn't I do that on your show already?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. That's when Feld popped
That's when
in.
it all. That's when it all
Yeah,
happened.
that's
Man.
when it
It's all
was-
happening. It's all happening.
Fucking Genesis. I have too many keyboards going on here.
Well,
Damn.
All right.
this has been lovely. I'm going to end the live stream. Whenever you guys can hold on.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Cool.
Thanks,
for hanging out,
everybody.
everyone.
Thanks,
Go
everyone.
fuck
Good to
yourself.
have the Hive back again.
Thanks.
We'll try and do this again next Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night.
All right, Ron Burgundy.
I like the Saturday Night Hive.
I don't know what the
fits so
on
good.
Burgundy.
It was meant to
Darren.
be.
Darren. Later.